Hello everyone and welcome to Prestige Encounters, the Dungeons & Dragons campaign with bees. I'm your Dungeon Master Salcos, and this is the Dungeons & Dragons campaign brought to you by Prestige Gaming Community. Before we get into the session tonight, we would have a few announcements to get through. First and foremost, we have an amazing group of artists that do group work for our community. We have Midnight Syndicate that creates goth, horror, and fantasy RPG music that you could be using at your tables at home. Go to the YouTube channel, watch their music videos, find their playlist on Spotify, ask your Amazon Alexa device to play Midnight Syndicate right now. Use the command in our chat, !syndicate, to get a direct link to midnightsyndicate.com for more information. We also have the Fictor Brothers, which create Celtic and fantasy music for our stream as well, that we use in our stream as well. You can find their YouTube channel, and the most important thing when you visit their YouTube channels is to subscribe. We also have Starving Artist, who creates all of our character art that you see here for campaign 1, and I am happy to announce that there is currently a Sam Thornton bust in the works. So hey, hopefully we'll get it before campaign 2. Starting next Thursday for our programming schedule, we have Prestige One Shot Thursday, and starting with our Prestige Libs, which is a completely randomized adventure where the players do not know what class or race that they will be playing until we start the session. So, yay!
And the points don't matter.
Nothing doesn't even matter.
Everything's made up.
Everything's made up. Everything I do is made up on the spot. People to guess. I believe that is all of our announcements for this evening. Am I forgetting anything? I feel like I might be forgetting something because it's just been such a long week.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone. So go ahead and
join our Valheim server.
We have Valheim server, we have a Minecraft server, we have a Discord server. Join all those servers, have fun with us. It's a great time. I think that we should, go ahead and grab your leftover Christmas cookies, grab your drink, find what you can in your fridge as we welcome you to our table and begin session 89 of Prestige Encounters. And welcome back, everyone. So, where we last left off, the champions of Cataran, finishing up their meals in the Flint and Steel, their home, their tavern, their business, decided to go out and do a little bit of shopping throughout the city of Cataran in preparation for their trip to Cyrundail to see if they can find the artifact dagger known as Gale that's currently being transported by the Silver Band. They went to a smith, started a human skull being gilded. They were also given the very lucrative trade offer to sell them their dragon scales for a total of 150,000 gold. They declined, but they did some, business, and they went to for now, And finally, they found a tent selling these odd and ends, mostly junk, but a few magical items sprinkled in, where they found means to either breathe underwater or a way to get something that allows them to swim and breathe underwater. Finding there is a cloak hidden at the bottom of the lake outside the city. Here they found a long and ancient temple paying homage to these great beasts or beings of the elements. They defeated some water myrmidons, and upon grabbing the cloak, a great hydra known as the World Devour, woken from its stone slumber. They all quickly evacuated, succeeding in a chase, and made it to the surface just as the many heads of this hydra began to rise from the surface. The champions taking quite a bit of damage overall as a party. Some spending the 3 rounds of combat in pure preparation for the fight ahead, to no avail. Ended up defeating the Hydra, learning its weakness to fire. And as this gargantuan body collapses into the lake, champions, what would you like to do?
Do Hydras have scales?
This Hydra does.
Are the scales like dragon scales? Are they like tough?
Make a nature check.
Okay.
Could they be used potentially to make an artifact that regenerates the user's health?
I heard Hydra hearts are pretty good for that sort of thing.
7 for my nature check.
I mean, you see a scale, you don't know what the exact nature or beneficial property of the scale is, but it might be valuable. The scales are each in size, the size of a buckler or a large shield. This creature, remember, was standing about 40 feet tall and did cause the earth to shake as it fell to the ground.
Dada, can you make anything out of these?
Probably. Let me give it a look.
I want to start ripping scales off.
Oh, okay.
I'll go ahead and join them.
Can I just take like one scale off and just use it as a shield?
You could have it. So scales are not something that just, it's necessarily, you'd have to get it treated and fashioned into a shield, but yeah, you could definitely do that.
Okay.
They are hardy, if you guys remember. It did have a natural armor, resulting in its armor class resulting of being 17 overall. So just keep that in mind. So they're not quite as hardy as an ancient dragon scale would be, but it's still a sturdy material.
Dope.
Probably better than the steel of my current shield.
Is there an
I think-
eyeball anywhere?
There are several. So at the end, it did sprout a total of, let's see here, what did I?
It had 9 heads.
It had 9
but then-
heads.
But then we also cut off like 4 of them. So there's like 13 heads total that you could choose from.
Okay,
So-
I would like to just gather some good-looking eyes.
26 of them.
Really good decorations.
So the eyes in diameter are about like 10 feet.
What?
This
Are
is a
you
40-foot tall beast. When it opened its jaws, it had this astral looking void in its jaws. So this isn't like,
What about the iris? Dinner plate?
Oh yeah, astral void. I want to open up its mouth and see if the astral void is still in there.
Yeah, that was something I was thinking about also.
Just
make an
Try not
arcana
to get
check,
sucked in.
Flint.
Arcana. Oh boy. I have +5 to this. Let's go.
What'd you get?
15.
15. So opening up, you find the central head, the main head, and you open it up, and there's no void, just a slimy gullet of a beast. But as you're kind of looking around, you can stand in its open mouth comfortably as if you were in a cave, as its mouth is about 8 feet tall and its complete jaw open. And you find that there's this like singular fang that is kind of this shimmering mineral looking material.
Ooh.
And as you get closer, this could be made into a rod that could be attuned to the astral plane, actually.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh boy.
So, you guys like the astral plane?
Not particularly. Wait, I don't know.
Was that where you were?
That is where I was. Oh, sorry.
You-
Yes. Yeah, that's where my friends are too.
I wonder if that's where Ember went.
Ooh, we could
Ooh.
do that.
Possibility. Maybe he is there.
Contacting them.
Who would like
Yeah,
to help me extract this fang?
I'll help.
I can help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
sure.
interested in? I'm interested in the heart of this thing.
The heart
Maybe
of
we
the
should try
cards?
taking the heart out.
Well, why didn't you say so? And Zark's gonna pull out a big old sword and he's gonna start like helping you carve open that chest to get to the heart.
I don't even know if I have anything that can carve.
That's
I don't
alright,
have
bro.
any
He's
sharp weapons.
gonna wave his sword around. I think he's got a scimitar.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna borrow a
So,
scimitar and just start like.
Jack, make a medicine check to see how efficiently you can find the heart of this beast.
Cool.
Also,
No sweat.
so you will know that you can definitely know where the heart is, but you remember that the blood itself was highly acidic, and you would actually have to venture into this like you're spelunking into its body to get to the heart. Also, so basically you'll have to swim through an acidic interior to get to that heart.
Peach, are you laughing about the word spelunking?
I just thought it was silly, fun word. Yep.
Okay.
This contact.
All right. Does Zark relay this to the rest of us?
Yeah, Zark's gonna just shout that back in a draw.
Okay. Let's drain this Hydra. I think. Let's just put a hole at the bottom of it.
Okay, but first we have to get it out of the lake, right? Or is it already out of the lake?
It's currently on the shores of the lake.
Okay.
And
So,
the blood might have a detrimental effect on the local environment. But, you
Might
know,
be we could collect some of that acid and stuff, put it in like
That's
a big
true.
old big old jar or some such.
That'd make a nice poison.
but as you're harvesting the fang, you do notice this faint blue glow start to emanate from its throat, and it's getting brighter as this light is rising up from it.
Oh boy.
I dodge out my way out of the mouth.
I'm gonna keep pulling on the fang and just watch the glow.
Eventually, this orb, about the size of a basketball, rises up from the throat, and as it just hovers for a moment, it glows brighter and takes on the form of a humanoid. It has this pale blue light features. You notice it has these webbed feet and a fin coming up from its back and its neck, and these elongated, almost merfolk-like ears. Sitting upon its head is a crown encrusted with jewels made from coral.
Ooh.
Hello.
Hello.
Speaking as if two voices echoing each other. Hello, brave adventurers.
Were you trapped in there?
My name is Miradon.
My
King
name is Flint.
of the Tritons.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Seems you were at some point consumed by that creature, that world eater.
In a way, yes.
All right.
My mortal soul was used to confine it within the temple, sacrificing myself for my people some millennia ago.
Oh.
And
Oh.
upon slaying this beast, you have freed me so I may move on.
Huh.
Question, sir. Are you a soul right now?
I
Oh,
would
no.
assume
Answer that.
it's possible. As a reward for freeing me, I shall gift you with the knowledge of an old and powerful relic and its
Ooh.
location.
All right.
Okay.
Long
Those were all
ago,
weird.
the kingdom of Tritons enveloped this land as the ocean overtook its now dry shores. We were in attunement with the elemental plane of water, and with the myriads of that land, we crafted a ring. This ring was meant to be used in a time of great peril, and it was sealed away within a temple deep within the fathomless depths of the plane of water. They say that the wielder of this item may have a wish granted thrice
Whoa.
upon its use.
Ooh.
Ring of Wishes.
Oh boy.
And it's
Yeah.
on the water plane.
We are going.
Yeah.
Where exactly? You're talking about an entire plane of existence here.
Fathom.
Where could we find something like that?
That knowledge is lost and not even known to me, the ancient king of my people. Perhaps you
What
may
was the
seek
name?
those who may know its location while there.
What was the name of the temple? Again?
The name has been lost to history as well.
Okay. I'm going to use Divine Intervention. I'm going to try to get the exact location of this ring using Divine Intervention.
Okay.
Okay. I got the funny number, but it's not the right number. Unfortunate.
Soon its form begins to glow as it dissipates into a mist and scatters throughout the air.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something.
Imagine being trapped somewhere for 1,000 years only to have the thing die. Is that a relief?
I mean, you would think that he would want to get around a little bit. You know, take a ride with us.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I wonder if that's what he's doing.
I think he's resting. Personally.
Back to the Reaper. Okay, so we've got a lead on a ring of wishes somewhere in the plane of water. Fathomless depths, something like that.
I guess so.
Tritons. Is that what he said he was? What was his name again?
Start with an M.
Miradon.
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 King of the Tritons. Well, that's something. We meet any Tritons, we met Miradon, their old king. Probably won't believe us, but, to start.
So this may be a surprise to you all, but your fight with a 40-foot tall monster outside the city did not go unnoticed. As you now notice a number of horses making their way out of the gates and traversing towards you. With Zark's medicine check with 22, you can get as many vials of acid as you'd like. As long as you have the containers for them.
Amazing. Okay, good to know. Vials of acid.
Fill an
It's a
entire
very-
bag of holding with acid.
It's a very large object. Very large beast. You can also get a total of 200 pounds of Hydra scales if you so choose. The use for which you don't quite know.
So are we on
Sell.
are we on a time crunch right now? Like, are we
Yes.
going to avoid those people
Yeah.
on the horses? Okay.
Well, we don't have to avoid the people. But
No,
we do have
we
a
should be
meeting
alright.
later.
Okay.
That's all I meant.
Yeah.
So we bore like a hole into the chest of this thing, so we can just see like a vat of acid, right?
You can have as much acid as you'd like.
Cool. But we're also going for the heart. At least
Yeah.
that's Hughes Esky's idea. Tell you what, Hughes Esky, I think you're the least damaged among us.
Right.
Mhm.
Among Us?
Yes, Among Us.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you think my
Going
water
away.
skin would survive this acid?
Doubtful. What's it
Yeah,
made of?
I don't think
Generally,
that
you're
would
want to
make much
go.
sense.
You're going to
I
want to
think
go
so.
glass.
I'm watching the approaching horses. Just here we go.
Hmm.
What do they look like? Who's riding them? Any banners flying? Any colors?
So they do hold the banners for the Runstand family, the Lords of Cadarin.
Oh, good to know. Okay, we're gonna stand around the Hydra and not run, I think.
All right. So, using my intuition, if I were able to make a hole in the bottom of this beast, how long would it take for it to drain? Like to a safe amount where I could probably reach the heart. And if I could maybe relay this through Zark, maybe he could let me know where the heart's location is.
I mean, half a day or more.
Oof.
It is a
my God.
large creature.
So this is a whole chamber to delve into.
It would be its own dungeon if you want to go into the Hydra.
Oh shit. Oh, okay. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's equivalent to the size of, you know, what a Tarrasque would be. Actually, it's a very large creature.
Okay.
It's like twice as big as your standard house.
Take half a day. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Zark puts 40 vials of acid into his inventory.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
40 pounds worth.
I think I'm just gonna drain the Hydra.
We
We
don't.
can just like.
I don't think we're coming back here anytime soon.
We don't have that kind of time. We need to. It's like afternoon, and we need to leave at night.
Yeah,
I
we don't
do
have
want
time.
to-
Right.
Sorry, I want to take those scales.
Sucks.
I believe I have enough room.
Okay.
I'll carry 200 pounds worth of skills.
Yeah, I want to get those back to the flint and steel because I have a theory about them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got the fang, magic fang, 200 pounds of scales, 40 vials of acid. Lego.
At this point, the horses do catch up to the lake. And on top of one of the horses, wearing, you know, this shined silver metallic armor, is an elf. Kind of takes off the helmet, and for those of you who fought in the tournament at the Harvest Festival here in Cadarin, you recognize them to be Azarok Runsand, Lord of Cadarin. Well, I recognize some of you, but I do not recognize all of you.
Ah,
And this group tends to pick people up.
Yeah.
Snowball effect.
Yeah.
I believe it is courtesy to bow when a lord presents themselves upon common folk.
mhm.
I'll do a little tip of the hat.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
Sam.
bow, but
He bows with his, you know,
know,
short.
short bow.
He's gonna do a little slight.
Respectfully, my lord, you know I am a lady of my own state.
Well, I see that once again you have slayed some sort of beast within the territory of my city.
You're welcome.
Slain, I think.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I assume that you'd be seeking some sort of reward for your service.
It would be nice.
Do you
It
have
could have
anything to
rampaged
do
through your
with
city.
its awakening or appearance?
We were just playing in the water, and it came after us.
Make a
Right
deception
place,
check.
wrong time. Wrong.
Say
Can I
that
cast
again?
guidance
What?
on Flint?
Right place, right time.
Yeah.
What did you say, Michael?
Flint, you can make a deception check. Okay, Flint, Jack already made it.
Up to you. You want to take it or not?
I'll take it. Okay. Well, something of this size could have very well destroyed the city, much like the dragon a few days ago. One travesty after another.
We
Lot of
stopped
these
that one
going around.
too. You're
Yeah.
welcome again.
From
we didn't stop that one.
The white one?
He's talking about the Dalsy on
Oh,
the door, the
blue one.
blue one.
Yeah, the
No,
blue one.
Gilmore.
No, that one's on our list.
It was
Yeah,
Gilmore.
no.
The Thunderous Cloud.
We were a little busy with a white one down in Restoria. That's down, but we're working our way down the list. We'll get that.
Making my way downtown.
Any assistance Keteran can render, I'm sure, will not go unnoticed. In fact, the many leaders from around the world, in fact, have been convening about this purpose. And so far, we've been the ones to do the job. So, let's talk reward.
Very well. You may walk alongside me as we make our way back to the city. We shall escort you.
That sounds good.
Perfect. Some of us could use a breather.
I'm sure.
I'm gonna limp along.
Couple of breathers right about.
He's going to look behind him. Dear cousin, do you mind healing these folk?
You have a deer cousin?
You turn around, you see the purple-haired cleric. I'm ignoring that, Flint. You see the purple-haired cleric known as Wisteria Runstan. She is the cleric of Lathander. That you have a few run-ins with, and she's gonna cast a mass cure wounds on everyone except for Huzescu.
Yeah, get fucked.
Beef.
So you're all going to regain 16 points of health.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, I wish I could do more to assist you, but I've been using most of my abilities to heal on the wounded from the attack 2 nights ago.
That's close. You've already done more than we were expecting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A pleasure.
It's just a little less. Now, how does a lord's cousin come into the healing business?
Oh, well, many of us from the branch families take service within the city where our family presides over as lords. My brother became a cleric of the Thunder, and I'm of Kelumvor. Yes. Yeah, I said that right. Or take those words, 69. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. I want to make sure I'm right here. I'll pull up my DM binder. So she is the cleric of Kelumvor, and Imlavor is the cleric of Lathander. So
Fascinating. All right. Well, how's the damage back in Cataran? You've been engaged in keeping these people alive.
I tried to save as many as could. We have totaled the death toll nearly to 500, which, given the dense population of our city, is not much. But it doesn't seem like this dragon's goal was to kill in mass amounts, nearly weaken or destroy what it could.
Okay.
Sounds like the modus operandi. Feels like they're targeting us specifically, strategically, working towards something big.
Dragons are not unintelligent, Beasts, as much as I wish they were. Perhaps if they were, they wouldn't be able to cast horrifying spells.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Mhm.
We were etching runes under their scales.
If we're spending a lot of our time and resources just recovering from attacks, it's harder to come up with anti-dragon measures at all.
That seems to be a strategy that they're using. They don't attack in full force, merely send out younger dragons under their employ to weaken us.
Expendables.
Indeed. I heard that you actually faced 2 of these up in the northern parts of the Empire. Is this true?
Minaria. That's true.
We did. We have the skills to prove it.
We got all kinds of skills.
Yes, it's all very nice. Now, as for your reward, you do know that I, as a Lord of Catherine and the province surrounding it, do have the ability to grant land to those who swear fealty to me. You see, I care about the Empire. My family has always cared about the Empire since the Great Conquering, dating back to my great-grandfather. There is, as it so happens, a keep to the north, just on the borders of the Elia Forest that falls within my territorial boundaries. And there are a few lands surrounding it that have been neglected due to there being no one to fill the vacancy of rulership over it.
A keep, you say?
Indeed. And perhaps a new group of lords and ladies may find their way to occupy said keep.
I'll look at the rest of the group. Never did fancy myself as a homeowner, but I suppose you are all homesteaders. Got that flint and steel back in town. A keep could be pretty useful, I suppose, for expanding the operation.
You guys want to know a fun fact?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Words that contain the word meow. Meow? Meowing? Meowed? Homeowner.
Oh,
Very good. I'm gonna need your thesaurus.
What's that supposed to mean?
Meow.
Now, I will say that the
What do you mean by
river
that?
does have quite a bit of girth to it, so you may find small trading vessels that can sail up to the town surrounding the keep as well.
Would Shada know of a Thorm like embassy
You can establish one.
within?
So you wouldn't
the
be so basically the Azerox are essentially he's a duke. You would fall down to a lower level of the hierarchy of lords and ladies and title as being a sworn feudal servant of a duke. Does that make sense?
I get what you mean.
well, I suppose we can add it to the list of things to look into, this keep. I imagine that'd be, well, speaking for everyone else, I suppose, it seems tempting.
Yeah.
You would be a essentially a baron.
Like Baron Hawkthorne.
Yeah, Jack's eyes just sort of cloud over, like,
I like the sound of that.
Baron Jack.
I kind of
I
like
think
the
we
sound
would
of
be
it.
better.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about future plans soon enough, I'm sure, but if this is something that'll be useful to you, that's great. Saying this to the group.
I did have a question, my lord.
Yes.
I have to know who works on your jewelry.
Oh, so you notice
Do you
I
have
do
jewelry?
use a rather nice jeweler in Catherine on the Mithril Row, and an Elven man. I do prefer the work of my own kin. Does fantastic work.
It is. I'm going to have to stop by later. It's very beautiful.
At this point, you're about 2 hours away from sunset.
Okay.
Well,
Are we
we
in
need to get
Catarain?
going.
You're approaching the gates at this point.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That keep actually would solve a problem that our little tavern wouldn't be able to. A keep is a lot harder to infiltrate and to just bust out of. So when we start getting these artifacts that the dragons want, we have a place to keep them.
They need to be magically guarded. I mean, dragons can raid a keep, I imagine. Perhaps with a little bit more difficulty than a shop, but Still,
It gives us more room though. It gives
it does.
me more privacy. It allows for us maybe to contract some of our own workers, maybe our own jeweler that we really like, or
By all
apprentices,
means, often
blacksmiths.
towns find themselves to be thriving over the proper rule of their lords and ladies.
Are you out
Um,
fighting dragons right now, my lord?
I donned my armor to join the fight against the beast threatening my city. I believe I, as Lord Protector of this province, have left things to adventurers for quite too long to protect my city, and I am, given the lack of leadership in Restoria, taking matters into my own hands. And
Gotta do the
Not-
thing. Gotta do the thing.
What, the thing?
The thing.
Flex on him.
All right.
I don't know.
I just want to see if he's a higher level than us or not.
Right.
All right.
Oh, the thing.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like,
I'll use know your enemy and see if his level is higher or lower than mine.
So what are you trying to get? Like, what skills or like HP? 'Cause we did
Level.
clarify. So level. Can you tell that from your know your enemy?
Let me just make sure. I'm pretty sure you can. Know your enemy. Total class levels, if any. Yes.
And your level is currently 14.
Yep.
He is not as strong as you. 14 is about 1% of the population. Anyone reaches that level or becomes higher.
We the 1%, yo.
I have no doubt that your talents are formidable. As Lord Protector of this realm, I salute you for taking matters into your own hands. That said, these dragons are strong, and I've seen them easily overpower even the strongest in this world. The best thing we can do is band together.
What
I say this
I
because
lack in
maybe-
combatant skill, I do possess an intelligence. It is not that I wish to go fight these beasts on my own. Oh no. I shall call my bannermen to fight along me, fortify my city as our Lord Emperor has so neglected these past months, and make sure that next time they show up my gates, either they go down or we all die, giving quite a fatal wound to all of them. My people will not run chaotically through the streets frightened anymore.
Job. I
How
like
much
this
are
guy.
we getting charged like 750 gold for some piece of armor in Cataran.
Fair prices.
Fair
Yeah,
prices.
It's a
telling
pretty
you.
fair price for
I'm
for
telling
half
you.
plate.
If we had our own, I'm just thinking on it.
If we had our own forge, you mean like at the Flint and Steel?
Yeah, you know my
Yeah,
forge.
but more like protected. I have a big vision. I have a vision.
And once you get to the path that leads up to where the Greystone man, not Greystone, his keep is, and he kind of lets you stops at the path. He goes, I'm afraid that this is where we must part ways for the evening. However, please take this. He takes a scroll and he hands it to Elith. That is a letter of recommendation bearing my family's seal. Shall anyone in the Empire give you trouble, that is, anyone but the ministers or the Emperor himself, show them that letter. Also, when you are ready in your own time, make your way to the keep to the north and take ownership of it.
May I ask, what state is it in at the moment? Anything we should know about it in terms of its security?
It requires much repair. But as ones who slay dragons, surely you will find some treasure hoards to fund your fantastic refurbishment of your
Flint and
lands.
steel lately. We
Huh.
repaired that with trees. Living
With trees.
Yes.
I shall tell those in my court and those close to me to frequent your business whenever they can.
Very good.
For now.
Have you ever had timber?
Yes, I believe I have. I have a chef who makes the most wonderful timbers in my kitchens.
Oh, them some fighting words.
Well, without further ado, I must bid you farewell. Um, until we meet again, champions of
Yes.
Cannon.
Yes.
Until then.
Thank you.
As he trots off, so you hear his guard, make way, and people stop and they like bow as he or curtsy as he trots off the street. His cape kind of
guys
furling in the
believe that?
wind.
Ridiculous.
This keep sounds like a white elephant.
What does that? What does that mean?
Oh, it's just something we say over in Cyrundail. It's a white elephant. It's beautiful, like, kingly gift. Something that seems on the surface of it quite valuable, but I mean the damn thing's white. It's sickly. It's not really going to survive without expensive help, and over time it'll bankrupt you.
I feel like that's kind of what the flint and steel was when we first got it. It was shitty.
Mm.
And we did have the option of living in some great manor that was already, nice.
Well,
But I
guys,
did like the idea of being able to sell my wares.
that's true. Quick thing. The scales we got from that Hydra. I have an idea about it because if it has like space in its mouth, like this astral plane, I wonder if the scales and its whole body is accustomed to the astral, and
I
if
think just this thing. And I hold up the fang.
yes, that is going to be very because we will be able to use that. But we could sell these scales from the Hydra if they don't end up doing what I think they might do to the blacksmith that was offering us so much money. I wonder if she could tell the difference. Do you think so?
Probably.
They're pretty similar. Other than like a size difference, and the hard. Okay, yeah. I don't think it
Yeah.
might work. The idea.
She might be interested in them anyway. I mean, if we're thinking about, like, just using the dragon scales for our own purposes, we've got all these other scales that we could actually just sell.
Why don't we use all of the scales for our own purposes?
That's 150,000 gold.
Could
If all else fails, we could also turn them into like a chest or safe. So,
For
like,
our new keep?
right, for the new keep, or to protect anything. So we have options. We can try and sell them, and they might be worth something, right?
Do you ever hear of dragon sickness?
No.
Nope.
It's when you're faced with this huge horde after you've fought your enemies, the dragon, whatever it is. You're faced with this enormous treasure, and you cannot bear the thought of parting it. And you'll fight to the death anyone who you even remotely suspect of taking it from you. Spend what you can in the time you have, I say.
Okay, well, don't we have the skull that we have to go get?
Yep. Let's do that.
Yeah. I will lead the charge to go get my skull, which I will not let go of, like a dragon's treasure.
Do we have to go very far out of the way to, like, if we wanted to stop by the flint and steel?
I don't think so.
Because we might want to put the 200 pounds of scales into the vault.
Good idea.
Is the vault reconstructed?
The vault never broke, I don't think, right?
The
fight.
It was on the edges of the part that collapsed, but it itself did not. The
Okay.
vault is the most secure location in your shop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna barge into. Are we at the blacksmith's yet? The moment we get there, I'm barging in.
Yeah.
All right. Knock knock.
Oh, it's you? Well, I did finish your gilded skull. It is mighty pretty, if I may say so myself. Outdid myself.
Fantastic.
And she hands you a gilded skull, as requested.
Oh,
Is there a tiny skull on the back?
Yes.
In the gilding? Yes. This is pretty good. Thanks.
It's perfect.
Hmm. How long has it been since we were last in here?
About 6 hours, 8 hours.
6 hours.
You showed up in the early morning.
6 hours and one traumatic experience later.
I said I was showing up before we're going to do this meeting. So this is great.
Congratulations.
Yes, and I'm all done. So we can go now. I have nothing
Did
further
you
to say.
change your mind about those dragon scales, if I may ask?
We might hold on to them for now, although we could be persuaded to part with a few other things. We happened to run across a very large ancient hydra.
Oh, I did hear a number of shouts and people running through the streets. It just happens so much these days, I just pay no mind.
You know, we happened to slay that big beast within the 6 hours we were gone, and
Oh.
collect a lot of its scales.
Oh? Yeah, have a look at one.
Sure.
Yeah.
She's gonna go to one, and she's gonna look at it with her monocle. She's gonna... Oh. They are not quite as protective as a draconic scale, maybe, but they're still quite useful. I could buy the entire lot off of you for 30,000 gold.
Yeah. Kind of.
I feel like we might be getting lowballed.
Well, I mean,
We are getting so extremely lowballed. Actually, I don't even know if it's a lowballing, but we don't know if this is going to.
It's worth a conversation. We can go in at 50.
make a persuasion check.
Ooh. 22.
50 is a bit higher than I could or be willing to pay. How about 40?
Say, call it 45.
40.
45. You can spare that.
Unfortunately, I believe that we don't have a deal. As much as I would love to, just the price point's not there. If I were
That's
to go
fair.
any higher than 40, I wouldn't be making a profit.
That's a shame. I would have loved to have seen what you do with this Hydra scale. But I suppose we'll just have to go down this
but I
track.
must work within the proper means because, like I
That's
said,
fine.
not quite as protective as it could be.
Of course, an honorable blacksmith like yourself, I'm sure you'd have no trouble and no injury to your pride if you happen to see the blacksmith down the street start to make some stuff out of this. Nonetheless, we bid you good day and thank you very much.
42,250. Final offer.
Shadow will look at Jack just like, good.
42,250. I'll look at the group. Do I see smiles?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
From me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
I'll look back at him. Well then. I think we can come to an arrangement. Tell you what, just for you and because we've been doing such good business, we'll call it 42,250. Shake my hand.
All right. She reaches out. She shakes your hand. She goes to the back and comes out with this chest that is full of platinum coins. 4,200. Wait, I'm not doing my math right. You know what I mean.
42,250 gold pieces.
40. Yeah, 2,250 divided by 10 is 4,225 platinum pieces.
Ooh, okay. Party bank? Who's the party bank? Party treasure. Ooh, okay, cool. You counting that out, Elif?
Yep. I'm.
Oh.
Let me go ahead and write this down real quick.
Wonderful.
Hey, Flint.
It was 250, 42,
Mm-hmm.
250.
42, 250.
You
So it's 4225 platinum. 4,225 platinum.
you mentioned that Fang has astral plane properties.
Yeah.
Do you think it might be attuned to the astral plane?
I think we could attune it to the proper, or to the astral plane with the proper preparation? Preparation.
That was a good one. Good job. All right.
Yeah.
I think that might be something that I might be able to maximize use out of. We just need to find somebody to turn it into a tuning rod.
Do we know anybody who could do that, Michael?
I mean, you know of the most powerful mage that you know right now that's available is Lenore.
Mhm.
But this doesn't require just magical skill, but I mean, not just Lenore, but also Elviren. But this requires more than just magical skill. It requires some sort of craftsmanship as well.
Cool.
If only we had an artificer.
Imagine if. Oh, wait a second. I was gonna say imagine if we had Ember, but it doesn't matter. Isn't that one dude who came up and gave us the thing that expands into the thing? Can't he do magic stuff?
That's what I was just about to ask. I
That's
think he
true.
could.
Kelvin's dead. Could be.
And he's around here somewhere, right?
He's back in the Flint and Steel, which is where we're headed now, so that we can meet up with Lenore.
That's
Dope. Let's give it to him.
Mm-hmm. Check in, see how things are going there. Keep. This is interesting. We'll need people. We need labor. We'll need people to work on it. It'll be a steep cost.
I will say that chest does weigh about 85 pounds.
Ooh, okay.
I got this. We'll carry it.
Sark is gonna lug it as well. He's gonna help out. He's got one side.
It was a lot higher than Flint's.
Yeah.
I can hold it over my head. It's fine. It's my workout for the day. Whew.
All right, so you're all heading back to the
Fight with
Flint
the
and
Hydra
Steel.
wasn't?
Say what?
Yeah, we're heading back to Flint and Steel.
Yep.
I do support the idea of having a nice artifact vault. That would be pretty neat.
Yeah, if we keep the dragons out. Yeah, it'll be great.
As we're walking back to the Flint and Steel, I'm gonna like pull Shada aside. What's a keep?
It's like a cool fortified place.
Okay. Still has no clue.
Yeah, so you all continue to move forward with your and make it with your newfound loot and make your way back to the Flint and Steel. Elf, to answer your question, yes.
Okay, good. Then I'm gonna go ahead and take a handful of gold out of my bag of holding, and I'm gonna hand the bag of holding to. No, I'm gonna hold it. I'm just gonna slip away.
Okay.
And I want to go find whoever that is.
Yeah,
Whoever does that.
a printing press.
Good.
All right, so Elf slips away for a moment, so she'll meet you back before sundown. And you all make your way back to the Flint and Steel. Elith, we'll focus on you for a second.
Hopefully it's quick.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the market. You found a printer before, for other things in the city, so you know where one is. You walk in, it's a halfling man, in his 40s. Oh, it was an Elif. Visago, the champion of Kettering. What do I owe the pleasure this fine evening? I was just about to close up shop as the sun was going down.
Oh, well, I required your assistance
Oh,
with creating some papers.
well, that is what I do.
The thing is, it's a little under the table, you know?
Okay, and what is this? Would you like to speak in the back? As I offer
Yes.
my most VIP customers. All right. He takes you back behind the counter and he's like to a broom closet that he by all means did not prepare for any VIP customers. He just was trying his best to
So
impress
charming.
you.
I love it.
All right, and this is like really snug. He's like, oh, that's better. And what is this task that you have for me?
Yes. Well, there's a lot going on with the dragons and the dragon cult, but more specifically, I've got my eye on a new and brewing cult that needs to be taken care of. So, taken care of. I can do that.
That is,
But
I'll be honest, the oddest request that has been made of me. No one
well,
openly admits that they're
you
recruiting
don't.
for a cult. That's just how these things work.
I'm not recruiting you by any means. I want to take them down. That requires bait, and you are going to make my bait. So it's gonna look like this. She's gonna pull out this like rinkety-dink page that she ripped from her journal, and it's got like a bunch of scribbles on it. It's gonna have a skull on top here, okay, but in the corner, and it's gonna be discreet, hidden in the bordering, right?
So you want a hidden message within the flyer itself?
Yes.
All right.
As well as some lettering, and you can see that I wrote it out here. You can
Oh,
maybe
you have
adjust
very nice
the wording.
handwriting. It's quite nice.
Thanks. It's a little
Oh,
messy. I
welcome.
heard that the most intelligent have messy handwriting, so I try to stick with that.
I feel what that says about my own intelligence, I'm afraid.
You practice. It's a skill. I don't have that
Calligraphy
skill.
is a dying trait with all these illusionary scripts these days. No one appreciates the handwritten word as much.
Definitely. So when would you be able to get, let's say, 20 of these done?
Well, I mean, it would take quite a few hours to set up the proper the ink and the template, and after I get that all set up, I could have all the papers pressed in just a matter of time. But it would take me about a day's worth of work to set up a new template for something along those lines. Some custom stuff would have to be made, of course. It would, unfortunately, due to the discreet nature of this, I would say 200 gold.
Easy. Okay.
Fair enough. No argument here.
No argument. As long as you just keep this between me and you, yeah?
That's what you're paying for.
Excellent. And I'm gonna go ahead and hand him over 200 gold. And
Alright.
I'll leave him the mock-up as well.
All right. So, Elif, is there anything else you want to do?
No, that was it. That went way better than I was expecting. I'm very
Okay.
happy.
Yeah, I mean, being a champion of Kettering and being a protector of it and being a slayer of dragons, your name does bear some weight.
Some people forget just how great we truly are.
Yeah. So, as Elf makes your way back, the rest of you make your way to the Flint and Steel and enter it. What would you like to do?
I'm making waffles.
That sounds great. I will.
Jack, you're muted.
Jack's gonna take a breather because we're hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit down and
Short rest.
eat something and just make that's it. Just nurse my wounds.
All right. So you can all mark this as a short rest.
Lovely.
Love that for us. Let's do.
my
I
thing.
feel like we don't short rest enough.
Yeah, we're gonna change that.
There we go. Because my thing didn't work.
There we go. Oh wow. Yeah, sure. Why not use all of my hit die? Yeah, Jack's just going to town on his meat pie. Just. Cool.
Close enough.
As you all finish up your short rest and hold on.
Gonna fry up some chicken to go with those waffles.
Mm-hmm.
So as you all wrap up your meals, Elves does make her way back to the Flint and Steel. And Elf, you can also count this as a short rest if you want.
Okay, will do.
And
Wonderful.
as she arrives, you get a message from Lenore. Jack, in your head, you hear, "I'm outside. It is sundown. You are late."
Let's get out.
You're welcome to come in for a drink, I'll respond.
A moment later passes and you get another message in your head. "I feel like the Dwarven lady would not appreciate my presence."
That's a fair assessment. We'll be right out. I'll stand up to the group. Alright, is here. Everyone ready?
Ready.
Alright, let's go. I'm just gonna rat pack it out. It's like slow-mo as we walking side by side, squeezing through the door.
All right.
Flint is hastily grabbing everything he can fit into his pockets from the kitchen.
Hmm.
Lego!
Mhm.
Is it like a carriage that she has?
No, she's teleporting you all.
She's teleporting us? Perfect. I was gonna say, we kind of have one, but
Oh, yeah, just make sure we've got... Oh, yeah, I've got that. I've got that in here. It's that little cube.
Your folded carriage.
Fold-out carriage. Yep.
Yep. We can work with that.
Oh, while we were there, did we give the magic fang to Kelwin's dad?
You can if you want to do that during the short rest.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I can see what I can do with this. You need it into some sort of rod shape. Is that so?
Yeah!
Oh, yes, yes, I can do that, no problem.
Of the tuning variety.
Yes, I assume this, I can definitely sense some strong astral magic, projecting from this. By all means, I'll have it ready in a jiffy. Just give me a few days.
remind me of what's his name from Arcane, the tiny furry little professor. I can't remember his name. But that's what that reminds me of.
I have no clue.
As we go, DM, I happen to have a satchel full of diamonds that I've gained some previous session. It's not clear how many diamonds are in there or how much. But that's something I probably want to give to Hughes because he's the one who uses diamonds in his magic.
That is true.
So the there's about 3,000 GPs worth of diamonds in there.
Goodness gravy. All right, Hughes, don't lose this.
This will be really good for spells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll keep a close eye on these.
All right.
Pocket them right away.
Hey guys, there's a fun fact in the VIP room.
We don't talk about that. Only patrons know that. So meanwhile, here we are heading out into the strait to meet Lenore Valine. So Fast forward.
All right, so Lenore is out there waiting, her hood pulled up, and she's taking on that wood elf form that you've seen her use in other places. Are y'all ready?
Can I sit next to Lenore?
Resisting the urge to throw a wooden spoon at her.
On the teleport? Can we like
Sit
kumbaya?
next to each other.
You want to hold
Kumbaya.
hands?
I'm playing. It's a cute idea.
JK, unless.
What if we held hands during the teleport, JK? Unless.
Oh, my bad, dog.
Jesus Christ. Here we go!
All right.
To Cyrundail, correct?
Correct.
All right.
So, with a flash of magic, you all find yourselves in a very unfamiliar site, both location-wise and architecturally. It does have a vague familiarity about it for those of you who have been to the Feywilds in the city of the Summer Fae, reminding yourselves that the elven folk do descend from Fae creatures. There are white stones with trees woven into their architecture, and what you find yourselves is like in this moss garden with a soft dribbling fountain that falls into a pool that is completely still. There's no ripples from the falling water, anything of that sort. There's kind of this soft light on these torches that, being in the forest, completely blocking out the sky above. It's already dark here. I've never been a fan of this city.
It's quite peaceful.
Why she doesn't like it?
What's not to like?
Elves tend to have this
Racist.
uppity attitude here.
Lenore.
Uppity. I'll keep that in mind.
I mean, dwarves are stubborn, elves think they're above everyone. It's just a matter of how they think of themselves. I don't think they're bad people, it's just, you know.
Think they're
Can we,
better
like,
than everyone else.
silence? I wish I could do an opposite tongues right now to where she just couldn't communicate at all. You know?
Lenore, thank you for your help to getting up here. What's next for you?
I will be returning to Restoria, preparing for our Lord Emperor's return.
With any luck, we'll be intercepting the silver band, securing this artifact, and after that, we'll be more or less on our own unless you reach out to us. I would recommend perhaps that you do so. Perhaps within a day?
I can send you a message when I have the time.
Alright. Great. In that case, I suppose we'll bid you adieu. Until next
will
time.
let you know that you just have a few days more before the supposed portal opens to the Plane of Water. Something that is not well known across the Empire, but the Runstand family actually gave away a secret of the passageways throughout this forest. So the Lord Varley, the first emperor, was able to conquer these lands more efficiently. Through the mountains to the west of here, there is an underground pass that you might find gives way to the opposite side of the Undalin Mountains.
Oh, that's good to know. All the way over to Cyrundail then. Or whatever's left.
Indeed. Well, I must be going, and I do mean this when I say it, but good luck.
I believe you. Until then.
She turns around and with a flash of light, He is gone.
Friends like these.
And call her a friend.
No. Well, it's close enough now, I suppose.
I don't know. She was kind of talking some crazy back there.
I've
You
just
tried to
heard
hold her
say-
hand.
Yeah.
Look, that was before she started.
It was before she teleported us here.
Okay. Anyways.
I think first thing to do would be to, well, suss out what we can about the Silver Band, whether they've made it this far. Anyone know their way around the city? I don't think I've... DM, have I been here before?
No, you have never been to Cyrundail. None of you have. This is the ancient. Actually, roll a history check for me, Jack.
Sure. 11.
11. As the only thing that you're aware of Cyrundail is this is the great elven city, the capital of the old elven kingdom, prior to the conquering, and that's about it.
Huh. A lot of history in this place. You hear about it. Father used to talk about this place.
Mhm.
Ancient history.
I mean, I've heard of Cyrundail before, but on my travels, I mostly visited port cities, so I would hear rumors of inland cities, but I never really saw them.
Well, I imagine they probably have their own way of doing things here, so
Probably.
let's stay on our toes.
Who do you think would be a good person to ask about the Silver Band?
Well,
What
if they're a
about
band
them?
of adventurers, well, I just want to know where they are. If they're a band of adventurers, my guess is that the taverns would be the first place to check.
Well, aren't they on the way here? They left here when, like, a day ago.
Yeah.
We gotta meet them somewhere here in the
Yeah,
forest.
but we can't just strike out in any given direction and hope that we come across them. Next
It
thing
was
you know,
about
we'll
4 days ago that they left Minaria.
Yeah.
But didn't Lenore say that they were in Tyrannwyn? That she had got word.
Last got
that
word, yeah. So they
Yeah.
should be, like you said, between Cyrundail and Tyrannwyn, somewhere in the forest.
Probably following the road. Hopefully following the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If they
Well-
suspect that they might be jumped for the dagger, they probably won't be following the road.
Did they tell them about the dagger? Because I wasn't there, but they didn't tell us about the dagger.
Yes, they did. Wait.
No, we
Zaskia,
told them.
could you make a perception check
Oh,
for me,
yeah.
please?
Sure thing.
No, Ember found the dagger and asked him about it, and he got all, I don't know what you're talking about, and then we got thrown out.
Mhm.
Okay. I thought that he said, "Will you take this dagger?" I don't know why I thought that.
No, we were taking the taxes or whatever.
Personally, y'all, I kind of want to. What are y'all thinking we should do?
I got a 14 on that perception check.
Yeah, so as you're all discussing what to do next, you do like look at the corner eye and you see a high elven child, a girl with long golden hair and bronze skin, and these vibrant green eyes kind of like staring at you from behind a marble alcove. And like upon you noticing her, she kind of like ducks back behind.
All right, that's kind of weird. I guess I'm gonna go over there and inspect around that corner.
As you come in, you peer around the corner, like, oh,
Can I help you?
I'm lost. I don't know where my house is. And I just saw a flash of light and you were all there.
Well,
I'm
alright.
lost. I'm Flint.
Well, here, come with me, and I'm just gonna guide her over to the group.
Put that
Gathering
there.
strays. Hello, little one.
Hello.
Okay, so this small child is lost.
I see.
That's
Do you... What do you know about where you live, child? Do you live somewhere in the city? Somewhere nearby?
Yeah, I live close to the Silver Tower.
Silver Tower. And I'll look around on the horizon. Do we see any silver towers?
Yeah, so in the center of the city is a very large tower that meets up to the tree line. And now that you're looking at it, these trees are several hundred feet tall. They are these huge, tall trees that just give way to these massive buildings that make up the city of white and green, white stone with these green tiled roofs, kind of like sparkling as a little bit of light. Last bit of sunset catches it. It's overall serene and beautiful. With these, like, where you are, this where this teleportation circle and this temple is, it's overlooking the city as a whole, and there's like this faint green sparkle of like glistening emeralds through this golden sunset light as these fireflies kind of dance around of all sorts of colors. It has a very fey reminiscent feel about it.
Tower itself, silver.
Can
Okay.
you dart above on your broom real quick, just to make sure we have a straight shot to that tower?
Of course. I'll go ahead and do that. Broom, broom.
Yeah, so you're flying over the city.
Yeah, and so the Silver Tower, she said it was near the Silver Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Is she on the broom with me?
No.
I didn't take her. Okay,
Make a perception check.
gotcha. Any frantic parents running around? That's what I'm looking for. My bad. I think I rolled 2.
Roll
12
12.
for the first. Yeah.
From a bird's eye view, frantic parents, as it gets dark out, hard to see. But there is a perfectly circular white stone wall that is 400 feet in diameter that holds the tower in the center of the circle. So you get about 100 feet in on both sides, and this tower itself is about 200 feet in diameter as it goes up several stories towards the sky, and it just has these lines of architecture going down from it. It's, once again, to add, beautiful. It has like a variety of soft golden light. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't see any dangers. I'm not really seeing any like hostile guards on this wall. It's just not very helpful.
Looking down at the child. Hi, my name is Jack. What's your name?
Ore.
Ori. It's very nice to meet you, Ori. We're gonna walk you home now. My friend up there in the broom is just watching out for any danger ahead, and it looks like she hasn't seen anything new. So, we're all gonna walk together, and we're all quite brave fighters, so you'll be quite safe. And if you see anything familiar, you'd let us know, alright?
Okay.
And I suppose we'll walk towards the tower.
All right. So you make your way down the staircase into the main part of the city, and as you get closer, you realize that the streets are a mixture of dirt and moss. The forest floor itself is less developed. Of course, the buildings where they had to build was made of this white stone with the branches kind of woven in, upholding the building and finding its way into the cracks to secure it further. And you're kind of walking through the city. Someone make an investigation check with advantage, please.
I'll do it. 30.
30. Look, there's a number of things here that could be of interest. There's a number of clothing shops, places to eat. You do notice that there is a shop that seems to have some sort of magical items to it. Closed for the night, but it is an Enchanter Shop. This is one of the few in the kingdom. The other one located in Restoria, I believe. And eventually, the girl goes, my house is right up ahead.
Oh, wonderful. Well, let's make sure you get there safely.
Hey DM,
Just walk
does
up-
this
walk up to
town
the door.
look like it has taken any dragon damage, like at all?
Make a perception check.
Yeah.
As you're like looking around.
14.
Seemingly untouched.
Cool.
Interesting.
She kind of leads you up to this large stone building. And you realize that this isn't a house per se. This is a brothel. And this
house.
is
The plan.
this is my home.
This place is unholy.
I see. That depends on your point of view. I'm sure it's holy to a great many people. All right, Sean. Are you sure? Are you quite sure your parents are in here?
Madame Elora is the one who watches over me.
I see. All right then.
I
Well-
land with the group.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Would you like us to accompany you inside and
No,
make sure that you get there?
It's not necessary.
All right.
All right. You know, as much as it's a weird topic to discuss, it's very possible that members of the Silver Band would go to such a place.
Such a
I think
great
it's worth
point.
asking around.
Maybe I should go in and investigate.
All right, we all going into this brothel? Let's just so we're clear.
Go in and
Well, maybe he's
Am
asking wants to stay
I, a
behind and cover his
shirtless
eyes.
man entering a brothel.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not sure if my god will be okay with this.
That's all right. You can stand watch outside.
I'm going to wait outside because I'm not going to ask for that much trouble.
Hang on a
That's
second.
fine. Go
He's
in.
just gonna like just rummage through his backpack, open up like a notebook, and just like overlook like the things that he like. It's like cleric rights. 1 sec.
I'm going to start playing with prestidigitation, making little sparks and
You're gonna end up on the astral plane. Don't do that.
I mean, as long as I don't cast anything.
So
with a
as the rest of the
spell
party
slot.
goes in, you hear he's asking you, Sam, and you kind of both look up and you see an elven woman, stunningly beautiful with this green dress that has its sleeves around the middle of her arms and kind of like going across in a parallel fashion across her chest, and it has a slit up the side for her leg to be revealed as well. You're not gonna come up and see me, boys. And coming out onto the balcony is an elven man, toned body, not slimly toned with defined muscles, long silver hair. Or she's not your type.
Sam kind of like blushes really hard, and he can't really form words right now.
Oh, I like this one. Now, I saw him first.
How do you want to go about this, y'all?
By the time we're walking in, Jack's changed his face. He's just a well-dressed elven man. Gold, kind of a tanned skin, long ears, kind of a brown hair, shirt and vest.
There is a thick smoke, purple in color, hanging in the air. I'm trying to find its escape out of this building. There are cushions lying around with these low tables as people of this otherworldly beauty of elven descent are walking between them, serving tea and drinks. much like you would find a geisha house to be, but with less Japanese traditions, but more so the entertainer and artisan side of things with how they present themselves. Uh,
A quick question. Are there any girls that are kind of just standing around and being a little more shy and not necessarily?
Make an insight check.
Gotcha.
There people are drinking. Some people are playing some sort of gambling game. Um, wide range of activities is going on here. 16 for your insight. All those who work within this establishment are professionals of the highest regard. Nobody's off being a wallflower. That is an employee. They're all engaging and, you know, making their money.
Where are the drinks at? I'm gonna go get a drink.
So there
Yeah,
is
let's all
no
together go to the bar.
bar. You notice that anyone who gets a drink sits down around a table and then they are greeted by one of these workers.
Perfect.
So do you all sit around a table?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
All right.
Sure.
yeah, we're all gonna run around.
I'm good.
I'm keeping an eye out for the kid though, because the kid went ahead of us. Just wondering, like, did she get lost? Is she
Make a perception check.
Sure. 16.
16. You do see her as you sit down, make her way through a balcony on the upper floor and disappears into a hallway. She seems to know where she's going. Walking up to you, and she kind of leans down and puts her chest right between Elith and Jack. Hello. Welcome to the Wildflower.
Oh, good name. Nice place.
Speaking of names, what's yours?
Oh, I mean, whatever you want it to be, I guess. Many call me Takari.
Oh, then Takari it is. Takari, as it happens, we're new in town. We're interested in getting to know the local color. Seemed like this is the most colorful place so far.
Trust me, no offense to y'all, but we noticed an outsider the moment you walked in.
Oh, good. That saves us some time. You wouldn't happen to be well acquainted with any of the adventuring parties coming through in and out of this place, would you?
I mean, a lot of people come and go. It makes your mind awfully foggy.
Of course. You wouldn't happen to have heard the names the Silver Band by any chance, would you?
Let me think. Can't say I do.
I'll put 10 gold pieces on the table.
She kind of kneels down onto a cushion between you and Alice. The Silver Band, they are known to come here every now and then. Haven't seen them in a few days, or a few weeks. Weeks.
I'll wave my hand over the gold and use minor illusion to make it look like there's 30 more gold on the table.
Are you trying to fool her into thinking there's more?
Just sort of waving my hand over it, making a magic trick.
Okay.
We happen to be in the information gathering business, and as it happens, if there's any interesting facts you might be able to divulge, we'd be all ears. As you can see, there's plenty where that came from.
Seeing
And then
that
I'll
you
wave my hand again.
have,
It's gone.
she kind of like tugs on her ear, and another elven woman comes over and kneels down, and she like sits cross-legged at the table next to Flint, and she looks at Flint and like pats on her lap for Flint to come and sit on it.
Okay.
So Flint sits down, like you find a nice cushiony spot to lay your head back on as you're sitting on her lap. Oh, well, aren't you so cute? Kind of ruffles your hair a little bit.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So, we'd love to get to know this city a little more. For one thing, where does an adventuring party like us go? Any meeting halls that I should know about? Any adventuring guilds? Anything like that that we should maybe check out? Any popular taverns?
There are a wide variety of establishments here in Cyrundail. We are one of the finer ones, of course, as you're closer to where the nobles live. You find a number of taverns, inns, but for those of you who enjoy the protein of other animals while dining, you won't find much of that here. We're very elven with our traditions.
So
We
it's-
need to get out of this town.
All right, Hughescu's going to he's gonna find a little scripture in one of his notes. He's gonna go, trust in my radiance and know that all love alive under my light shall know my blessing. I'm gonna light a candle and I'm going to kind of sheath my hand over it to create a dim light. And I'm just gonna.
Those are
Very
really pretty
cautiously walk-
words. Why don't you come upstairs and read to me from that little book of yours? They're still like hanging
Repent.
over the balcony, like
Repent.
cat calling you too.
Hughescu's just gonna be like, just keep
Your
the lights dim, please.
Your
That's all
vest
I
is
ask.
cut so low. I want to see what lies underneath. That one, nods to Sam, doesn't leave much more for imagination, being all bare chested and all.
While Jack is talking to our lovely consort, could I look around more and potentially, I mean, it's hard to slip away from Jack, but I don't,
Is Zark inside or outside?
Zark's
He's-
inside with you. Only Sam and Hughescu stayed behind.
Really? Yeah, let me look around real quick. I'm looking for, black hair, please.
Okay. So at this point, goblets are brought over to you, and they're kind of made of solidified flower petals. They look like a flower bloomed, kind of like a tulip, but they retain liquid inside, and they have like they're hard as stone, but they looks as natural as any other flower would be, growing wild outside. Full of this golden, lightly dense liquid.
Don't mind if I do.
Make a perception check, Aleph.
Gotcha. You're drinking from flowers. 9.
Actually, you kind of make eyes with Takari, and she goes, "Am I not your type?"
I'm just not interested in talking business.
Well, what are you interested in? She kind of leans closer. Her thigh touches yours. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that.
How much do you cost?
Oh, it really just depends on the service. Are you wanting to talk
Let's go
more?
find out. Yes, ma'am.
So she goes over. Essentially, for everything, it would cost you about 400 gold. This is a very nice establishment.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna message you real
Okay,
quick.
okay.
But I would like to, when we get up there, I would like to pry actually a little bit about the Silver Band. Who they are, what they do, how successful their endeavors are.
Okay.
Oh, and while I'm going up to the room, I'd just like to call back to the group. Give me an hour maybe. Go ahead and stop by other stores. I'll be a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna be asking around, just generally, just around. Not like pestering people, but just over the next little while, just kind of subtly, just asking around about the Silver Band, anything we can know about them.
Really quick, Jack.
Yep.
You think maybe that Silver Tower might be a place where they'd meet up?
Silver and silver. I don't know. Could be running theme.
Uh,
Could be coincidence. Could be something there.
They do live in a place called the Silver Monastery.
That's true. I'm connecting dots. Maybe they're not there, but it's worth a shot.
Sorry, the Silver Moon Monastery.
Silver Moon.
So the Silver
Oh,
Tower
totally.
is from asking around. You're gonna roll an investigation check, Jack, with advantage.
Oh, all right.
Elif, I read your message. Go ahead and
I
roll
like
a
it better.
persuasion check, Elif, as you're kind of questioning her.
30 on the investigation check downstairs.
Kind of like, dangling your coin around. I will say for a 30, to get more exact information, it'll cost you about 20 gold.
Okay.
Subtracting the 20 that you gave Takari as well.
All right. Cool. So another 30.
So the Silver Tower is where the ruler of Cyrundail and the High Lord of this ancient elven kingdom resides. It is also the main governmental building of Cyrundail and the Ealia Forest. The Silver Band was last known location was about halfway between Tyrwin and Cyrundail. It was noted by a merchant who was traveling through a brisker pace, trying to get to the city before any threat of a draconic attack from Minaria being known reaching them. So they were kind of in a rush. But the Silver Band didn't seem to, because they were pulling a cart loaded with chests and items with them, slowing down their pace.
Okay. Any information about the kind of places they like to frequent in town?
There is a tavern nearby where they might go. It's called the Ivory Vine.
So they were traveling by the road then if they got passed by a merchant.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, good shot. Okay, nod.
Are these drinks any good, and are they alcoholic?
They are made of fermented nectar.
Okay, so they're like mead-ish, sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay,
Sweet.
I'm getting hammered.
For a round of drinks, it would cost you about 8 silver per goblet. If you want to be drunk, make a Constitution saving throw, Flint.
Oh, I have a +9. Oh, shit. 13.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. About 4 goblets, and you'll be there. First level.
All right. Yeah, I'll just subtract that from gold. I'll just do 4 gold because that's easier.
Okay.
Elith, so you walk into the room, and there's behind you, and she kind of, as you sit down on the bed, she turns around and she closes the door, and she walks over and sits next to you, and she kind of starts running her hand through her hair. She goes, "So, what would you like to know?"
Well, I wanted you all to myself, so I did pull you up to this room, but I do have a question for you.
Oh?
The Silver Band. How good are they at their jobs?
Well, aside from ones known as the Champions of Cattern, they are a rather famous adventuring party, from my understanding.
Champions of Cataran.
Hey, you get mixed reviews about them. Some say that they're criminals, others say that they are the secret saviors of the Empire, but the Elven Kingdom is rather bitter about any opinions those who rule the Empire may have towards it.
Well, I can't speak much on it. I haven't heard much of them, so I don't know. That was the only question I wanted to ask her.
She kind of scoots closer to you. So, what would you have me do?
Why don't you go ahead and get undressed for me?
She'll do that.
And does she turn her back to me at all?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and do Finger of Death.
All right, go ahead and roll for finger of death.
Hopefully,
That's the play.
this does not backfire. 59. Constitution save of 18.
Yeah. So as her dress does fall off of her shoulders, feeling her bare back, you do reach out and just upon this point of contact, her skin withers and turns black, and she lets out a gasp. It's almost like a stifled scream. And she falls. And after a few moments, you hear a and she rises up as an undead.
Excellent. Scene.
All right. Back to everybody else. What are you doing?
Still mid in information gathering, I suppose. Not really drinking much. Trying to keep focused.
Drinking and bragging and telling stories.
Yeah, I'm reporting the thing about the tavern, the Ivory Vine, to anyone who's still sober and listening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people know that you're a paying customer. They're all just kind of like fawning over you, trying to make you feel as important as you possibly can. Trying to capture your eye for the night. Tell us again of how you took the money from that awful baron in the Cyrundail Federation. To you, Jack.
Oh, okay. I'll kind of play along, but I'm actually kind of a little bit more conservative as time goes on. Jack's just sort of like crossing his arms and sinking a little bit more and more into contemplative silence as Flint tells the stories.
Flint, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm coughing up along here right now.
That's fun.
Cool.
Shadow will join Flint in storytelling.
All right. At this point, you make a performance check. Shadow with advantage.
All right. Let me go roll that really quick. Performance with advantage. 14.
14, sorry. So you do capture many people in the establishment's attention as they as you're kind of telling the story and just giving an overall almost bardic performance.
May
That's
I?
where I got this sword.
Oh, tell us.
I wouldn't have it if it wasn't for my good friend Flint here.
So you go on.
I took a dragon to the astral plane and then I ran from an astral dreadnought for like 2 years.
There's an overall like gasp throughout the crowd, and like, oh, dragon! Oh my goodness! Are you here to fight the dragons now?
Yes, we killed one in Restoria like 2 days ago.
That's what this sword is made for, isn't it?
So overall, there's now just a dead silence, and they're like, champions of Caterin, champions of Caterin. They start to murmur amongst themselves as like you begin to hear the name that your party has been given start to grow throughout as like these, and then you hear from above in the balcony, well, well, well. The champions of Caterin grace my establishment with their presence. Looking up is a woman elf with skin the color of charcoal. Her hair is a faint lavender color, and overall she is these bright purple irises. You've only seen one elves like this in one other situation as Drow in the Kingdom of Ayash, but this one is not one of this a member of the Bashabian forces that you met years ago. She kind of walks down wearing this silver dress made of silk. And she walks over, and all of the workers who are fawning over you kind of like scatter away. And she sits down. She goes, "Allow me to introduce myself. I am the patroness of this establishment, Madame Elora."
Well met, I'll say in Undercommon.
You said she's a drow.
Jeez.
All right.
Oh boy.
She'll repeat back, "Oh, so you know the old language."
A little bit here and there. It's been a little while.
"Your accent could use some work."
I'm sure it could. A bit more immersion. What
In
brings you to this-
Undercommon,
Yeah,
I'm
saying
gonna
this
say
in Yeah.
in Undercommon, I'm gonna say get fucked.
Oh, I like this one. "So, what are the champions of Cataran doing in Cyrundail this fine spring evening?" Elith, what are you doing?
Well, now that that's done and over with, and I have a zombie lady in the room. I'm going to have, I'm gonna command her to rip. She's gonna deconstruct herself. So arms, legs, those are coming off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put her in a sheet or a bag in the room, and then I'll go ahead and put that in my bag of holding. Prestidigitation the room clean, and head back down to see my friends.
You gotta make an intelligence check to see if you're able to proper Dexter this room up.
Gotcha.
It helps when you have magic.
Yeah. 21?
You feel rather confident in your skills to cover up the crime that you just committed.
I do.
And as you're kind of doing this, there is a vanity mirror, and the lights, the torchlight does flicker for just a moment, and it's in the mirror in your reflection as you're kind of looking close. You do see this, yourself, but as a rotting corpse, and then just fades back to you, like a flash, like a camera flash almost. And then you head downstairs, and as Madame Elora is talking to the party, you rejoin them at the table.
I leave. Not because she's coming down or anything. Because
So funny.
because drow. I leave.
Okay.
I'm also gonna leave the establishment
Welcome back.
as soon as possible. I will go with Flint.
No. I don't know what his deal is.
Well, there are those who have an issue with my kind due to our rather blotchy history. So,
I have been part of dealing with some of your kind in the past.
yes, that mess over in Ayash. What a shame. Some people just can't let go of the old ways.
We happen to be on important business here.
Oh, it certainly seems that you're on. And she looks over at all these courtesans around important business.
Indeed. Had to start somewhere. We're new in town. Seems like you might be the right person to ask. Mm-hmm.
I am known to be aware of the comings and goings of a variety of people.
Indeed. I suppose you've been keeping track of adventuring parties in particular? Convoys, traders, that sort of thing?
I mean, I do have other business interests, if that is what you're implying.
Can I ask you a landscape question? How many roads would you say lead out from Cyrundail into Terwaren? Would you say there's one main road, or does it split, branch off a few times?
There is always one main road to Cyrundail. Everything else is merely a fork off it like roots from a tree. But if you're asking if there's one road to get from Terwaren and Cyrundail, there is one path that one should take for the shortest amount of time, of course.
Excellent. We're thinking about taking a trip.
Ah,
Hmm. Any word of the dragons lately? I know they've been ravaging the countryside just to the west, and indeed most recently to the southeast.
thankfully, due to the properties of the Ilia Forest, the dragons themselves have not found their way to our fair cities.
Properties? What properties are those? Do I know what she's talking about?
Make a history check.
That's a 4.
You have
Guess
no
not.
clue. You have no clue.
What properties are those? Magical concealment?
Rather, an illusionary purpose of it. It's just things that are not welcome tend to become confused or get lost during their travels.
Ah, good to know. Things that are not welcome.
Indeed.
To whom exactly? Who are the masters of the forest?
The forests. Those who wish it ill intent. It's actually an interesting piece of history why Lord Varley had such a difficult time conquering this region. We were the last kingdom to fall prior to the Grey Keep. And that only stood for so long due to the draconic lord of bronze descent.
Well, I imagine it won't be too much of an impediment for us. After all, as far as I can tell, we're a party of people with nothing but the best of intents. I'll say, almost convinced.
One would hope.
The name's Jack.
She offers her hand for you to kiss her ring.
I'll take it. I'll kiss it. A little bit of panache in the flourish there.
Okay. What a gentleman.
That's a 25 on the panache, by the way.
Yeah, she fails. She's
Okay.
totally charmed by you.
Yeah. Just between you and me, I have to wonder about what powers might be in particular of particular interest around a city like this. For instance, what's the story behind that tower, the silver one nearby?
Oh, the Silver Tower. That is an interesting one. It's where the placed human lord and his wife and vile children reside.
Oh, I see. Vile children, eh?
It's after the Azrox, and she says she tilts her head to the side and spits onto the floor upon mentioning the Azrock name. Betrayed their own kind. The Empire saw further insult to us to place human lords over the Elven kingdom. The Azrox in return got Katarin.
I see. How interesting. And what are they like as lords? Are they fair rulers? Are they nasty?
They
Vile?
typically do not leave the tower, rather than issue out orders through Elven delegations that, none the wiser. Rather scared of those with malicious intent towards their family, taking care of the trash, one would say.
DM, do I sense an opportunistic air about her, like she's trying to wheedle something out of me?
Make an insight check.
It's a 15, sir.
So, the interesting thing about, those who work in brothels is that they have this skill about them to get information out of people through pleasure of both mental and physical stimulation. People tend to be more loose-lipped, so it's possible you don't know if this is her intent in this conversation.
Cool. Huh. All right. Well, I suppose I'm going to stand for now and just get a quick vibe check of the room. Looks like Flint and Aleph have gone outside.
Mhm. Zark is
so-
currently being fawned over.
Yeah. Well, this has been wonderful. Your hospitality has been extraordinary. I do hope this won't be the last of our meetings.
One would certainly not hope for a charming gentleman such as yourself.
Quite.
When do you plan
I-
on leaving town? Maybe I can catch you before you leave.
It may be very soon. As I said, important business. But if there is anything you'd like to discuss, please. You may only need to reach out.
I'm sure someone will reach out to you if you are needed. So do you all leave? Go back outside?
I'm gonna call Zark over. He's gonna grumble.
Sounds good.
Alright, let's go then.
Alright, so as you all step inside to the kind of chilly air of the forest, that is where we're going to take our mid-session break. So we'll see everybody back here in a few minutes. We'll have a timer up on the screen for you to know when we will be returning. Stick around. Thank you so much for tuning in so far. Don't forget to hit that follow button if you have not already, and join our Discord. As previously mentioned, we do have a Minecraft server and a new Valheim server for those of you who are enjoying that game. There are also a number of games that we'll be playing as a community that are currently on sale on Steam. So be sure to check out our Discord, see what those games are, and enjoy, gaming with our community. So we'll see you all soon. Be right back.
See you soon.
Woo!
Everybody.
And welcome back, everyone. So, where we last left off, the champions and counters have just left the Wildflower and are now in the crisp spring night in Cyrundail, the ancient capital of the elves.
Well, seems like a nice evening for a walk. We've got a few different leads, everyone. We could potentially hang out here in town until the Silver Band gets here. We've got a lead on a tavern that they like to frequent. The Ivory Vine. On the other hand, there's only one trail that they could be following from Tearwear into here, so conceivably we could just follow that. Meet them halfway there.
We do have to make our way to that lake, don't we?
The lake?
I think it'll be faster if we go meet them, because they've got like carts and stuff and they were passed by a merchant or whatever. So I think if we go there, we can grab the dagger and get back here quicker than if we just wait.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah.
We have our own transport. That's probably faster than what they've got.
We don't know how they'll take it when we get to them. For all we know, they'll treat us like bandits and try to fight us for it, which will be
No, I know them. I know them.
complicated. Oh, you
I
do?
know.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
Yeah, we've
They-
met them before.
they offered to take care of my mom when we were going to fight an army of an evil lady. Drow people.
Okay. Well, maybe we can leverage that, and we can't. Well, if everyone's in agreement, maybe we'll take a walk. When we start walking now, we can camp in the woods as we go. Sound good?
Sounds
Did
great.
you want to walk or did you want a carriage?
Oh,
A carriage.
we do have a carriage.
But it
All right,
costs
let's use
money.
That'll probably be used
It does.
in this.
And I'm running low, especially after that little adventure.
I have plenty in the group party.
Oh,
So.
question. If we've got like two people awake like we normally would with shifts, but they're driving the carriage, can the rest of the people sleep and like do a long rest while moving? Is that a thing?
Have you ever tried sleeping in a car?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Yeah, that was chaotic.
Yeah, I guess that just depends on how large it is. But let's get a sense of how roomy it is as we open it up. So I'll just kind of, I guess we'll get to an appropriate place. Like, maybe we'll kind of exit the city to avoid attracting too much weird attention.
Mhm.
All right.
All right, so
Okay.
you're going to travel straight out of the city and start heading
I think
your...
so. Yeah, unless anyone stops us, we're actually gonna start heading along on the road, and yeah, if we get to a nice distance, we'll stop and we'll unfold the carriage.
Okay, so getting to the ends of the city, rather short-lived visit. The guards do stop you, wearing this green and gold armor. Sorry, on account of the dragons, nobody leaves the city at night.
Oh. Is that for our protection?
It is for the assurity of everyone's protection.
Well, that's very kind of you, but as it happens, we've been tasked specifically with guaranteeing the protection of some travelers on their way here. So if you don't mind stepping aside, we, who are quite capable of killing dragons on our own, would like to proceed.
He looks at the other one. Sorry, without proper documentation, we cannot allow you to proceed.
You can.
How about this? Let me through or I'll break your fucking kneecaps.
Hold on.
Didn't we
And then
just get proper documentation?
I'll look to Eleth, because she's got the documentation in her hand.
Yes, I will go ahead and hand over the lovely scroll we just got.
They unfurl and they look at this. They kind of look at you. They spit right in front of you all, like at your feet. As rock scum. Let him pass.
I'll take the scroll back.
So how about them kneecaps?
Piss off, little one. On your way.
I would like to hit him in the kneecap with a frying pan.
I'd like to
Let's
stop him
go.
before he antagonizes the guard.
Go ahead and roll a weapon attack against each other.
Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
Whoever rolls highest wins.
Okay.
23.
Oh, that's a 14, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so Flint, go ahead and roll damage for your frying pan.
13.
Alright. So they're like, that will be, he like grabs, he has like screen and pain, is like he just crumbles to the ground. And the other guards start to come out and they'll be like, alright, gnome, drop your frying pan, drop your weapons.
I don't have any weapons.
Sada will go and like, God damn it, and goes and uses lay on hands to the other guard and heals them.
It's alright. We'll take care of this. We take care of our own. He's clearly deranged. But he's he's a danger to us all. We're going to escort him as far away from the city as possible and deal with this ourselves.
While Jack says that, I'm gonna go ahead and unfurl the carriage. Kind of right outside that gate.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Okay. That's DM code for it. I thought that was really shitty. Okay, that's an 18, sir.
18.
18 with disadvantage. Could have been a 36.
So you're gonna have to heal him for 18 points of damage, Shada, so that takes your lay on hands.
Yeah, it takes all of it, so that's all of my 15 points.
Wait, what?
Huh?
I only did 13.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait,
Then, yeah, I
you did,
guess.
it says 13 plus 6.
Yeah, the plus 6 was if it was a
Raging?
No, if it was a crit, which it wasn't a crit.
Oh, okay.
That's weird. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, seeing how you healed him, I not right attacking someone who's defending the city.
Oh, he was
Wasn't a very
antagonized.
smart idea.
He's feisty.
We'll make sure
He's
the other
very-
city guard know your faces. And if you come to the city and cause problems again, you'll spend the rest of your remaining days in the cells below.
All right.
Come to the
You won't
city,
get-
we only come with intent of protection.
Yeah, protecting who?
You from the fucking dragons, you idiot!
We've killed a couple of dragons at this point.
Odd
We're
way
ready
of
to
showing
protect
it.
cities.
All right, that's enough. Let's go. Time's wasting.
Time to fucking murder the entire guard.
I'd like to
Yeah.
drive the carriage. So,
Clint starts a small war.
It does cost 1 gold coin per 30 miles.
That's
All right.
fine. We can.
I have vehicle handling proficiency. Can I help out with this one? Or...
It's Arcana.
Oh, it's Arcana. You're right. Yeah.
It is Arcana. Nicely done. Roll Arcana, Elf.
Pretty sure we could take out an entire city guard.
How'd I get 11? Yo, what?
Okay, but I'm pretty sure it would not be worth the effort.
Probably not, but it'd be
So
fun.
you manage to start, directing the cart. You drop to the ground and unfolds into this mechanical creation with steam steeds pulling it. You put your coin into the slot and they whir and hum to life, and you all are riding the cart as Elf drives it. 2 people can make a perception check.
I'll go.
I could help.
Mm-hmm. Zark's gonna peek out. Do his with advantage. He got a 25.
25. All right. So yeah, you feel pretty confident in keeping an eye out as you make your way through this forest on this mossy path. The roads are fairly quiet, being how late it is in the evening, but you just find yourself trudging along between these massive trees, the faint glowing of moss and mushrooms and fireflies kind of creates this lantern-like path around the forest. Every now and then you see a wildlife creature skitter across a tree branch or through a bush, and overall it's just serene. This is nice.
I'm setting up at the. I guess I'll be setting up kind of co-pilot. Just mentioning to Elith that we heard this forest kind of watches out for itself, wards against evil, that sort of thing, all threats to itself. And so long as we're staying on the path, I suppose we'll be safe. Can't imagine what it would want with us.
You
Yeah.
mean like a ranger? Does that trigger it? Like Zark?
Maybe more like a fire, or people who want to chop down the trees, upset the natural balance, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have anything to worry about.
No. You learn anything interesting?
Nothing. I did ask, if they're good at their jobs, the Silver Hand. And they're not as good as us. She didn't know who we were.
Well.
But,
Not the worst thing in the world.
she got stolen from me pretty quickly, so.
Oh? Who did? Oh, the brunette that you met. It looked like you met a friend.
Yeah.
Didn't work out?
Then I, left. But
No, you're up there for a little while.
it
I-
sounds like you
I was sort of hoping you'd found good company.
You don't want to hear about all that.
No, of course. It's your business. I just mean it's nice. I'm glad for you. You found some company.
A little bittersweet, It reminds me why I don't go to brothels.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, no one compares to Anelia. But
Is that your partner?
back in the day, yeah.
The wife?
That was the dream.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I've come to terms with that.
Can I ask how long ago?
Oh gosh. I want to say 6 years? 7?
That's not long enough.
We ran away when we were much smaller. And we were together a couple of years. So yeah.
What happened?
Marital issues as they do. We had different ideas on how to survive. And my ways were a bit too rough for her.
I don't know, actually. I never really had much time for that sort of thing, to be honest. But I always imagine that when you find someone that means that much to you, you'd find a way to make it work. Maybe you know better now.
Got me in a bunch of holes. She's gone now. And then I tried to bring her back through Run Astray. And that backfired.
And so, this new one.
Mhm.
Is that the goal? To get her back?
No, like I've said, I've come to terms with that, or at least the fact that I can never bring her back. I had to realize that even if I brought her back, she doesn't want to talk to me. So, yeah, now I'm just out here. Hopefully making the world a better place, but it's a scale.
Jack just sort of looks sad. Sounds like a hell of a thing to carry.
It's the only thing I have to.
That's not true.
Oh yeah.
Well, you've got Gary now, I suppose.
Yeah. That too.
Maybe a future.
I trust in him though. I have high hopes for him. But I wish Ember was here because I trust him a little more with Gary than I do, you know? So if we get to those wishes, I mean that was my first thought. Just like to know where he is.
You could wish for her back.
That's a lot. That's a lot to process. That is not something I considered. But that's the thing, Jack. I killed her.
Sounds like a way to make it right. I'm not saying you have to be together afterwards, but it's maybe a way to make it right.
Life is very painful, Jack.
I know.
I think that she landed herself in a beautiful place. Much better than I will be. And I think she deserves to rest and be happy.
Spoken with love.
After traveling for about 15-20 miles throughout the night, and you know, converse back and forth, you do hear Jack kind of like keeping an eye out through the crickets and the owls. You do hear the final sounds of shouts and alarm, and then silence up ahead.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Shh. Stop.
Okay.
Okay.
We're in the horses.
Alright. Just knocking the side door just to get everyone who's inside just up on alert. Trouble up
Okay.
ahead.
What? Huh?
Just shh, quiet.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna
Alright.
slip off. And then I've got my book around me, and I'm gonna go take a look.
Okay, go ahead and roll for stealth.
Okay, cool. Here we go. Cloak of Elven Kind. 24.
All right, so you kind of crouch low, and you all watch as like Jack just crouches low, walks a little bit forward, and just disappears from your line of sight, almost like an illusion. Jack, you kind of creep ahead, keeping low and with the foliage of the forest, rather well since you know so dense. And you come up to a quite horrific sight. What you see laid out between these three hills. I'm gonna make a perception check to see how much you see.
Okay. 14.
14. Looking around, what you see are these two large, one would say huge, dragon-like creatures, along with two others that are humanoid with these dragon-like arms and claws. They're currently surrounded over a tipped-over cart with a number of chests and gemstones and coins thrown across the path, kind of glinting in the soft bioluminescent light of the forest. And you see three men: an elven man, a air ganassi, and a dwarf in heavy armor, like kind of sprawled across the ground. And the one of the draconic figures is kind of like hovering over him, pointing its claw down towards his chest. Is like, where is it? The air ganassi just spits his blood up at the in the face of the draconic figure. Search the chest.
Oh my goodness.
We need to move.
Okay, I'm going to creep back just as far enough as I need to in order to cast minor illusion over to the party. Just a little voice, just saying, "Hurry, come closer."
Okay,
Like
move
usual.
out.
Shuttle.
SWAT team, let's go. We're all getting
Yeah,
in
We'll
motion.
hop up and
I'm gonna
We
stay
running.
hidden and then just start like going around and yeah.
I'd like to be in aerial on my broom.
Where be us?
You are not on the map, so your cart would be entering from over here, where this cart is. So you can place your tokens close by that.
Okay. Cool. So where would I have been hidden? Probably like around here.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Hidden right now, lol. Oh man, these big dragons. What are these
As you're like
things?
observing these, you notice that these speak draconic, but have this like garbled humanoid voice about them. As you're kind of like looking, and you see that one of these, with the dragon-like arm, the humanoid, you recognize him. You don't know quite from where, but you do recognize him.
Quick note, I am
Hmm.
struggling to get my token on there.
Yes.
All right. So,
So I've taken up position at this
is
rock.
so
Wait.
these three are currently unconscious and bleeding out on the ground.
Okay, cool.
As these two are kind of like searching the car as they move over here, and they're like searching through the gold and the gemstones on the ground.
Okay.
Okay.
I need everybody to
would-
roll a stealth check.
Okay, I was about to say I would not like to be stealthy, and I would like to run up and hit this thing.
What this is
Oh,
determining is
okay.
if you get a surprise round or not.
Oh, okay.
Okay. 25.
Wait.
20.
Are we all doing the stealth check?
Yeah, everyone
Give me a
is.
moment.
Okay.
Shoot, have tides of
I'm scared for mine. I have horrible stealth. 1 second.
One thing about that is I have advantage.
12.
Okay. So, Sam, Flint, and Hughescu, you do not get a surprise round. Jack and Elif and Shauna do.
Okay, that sounds
What
like...
did Zark roll?
Alright.
Zark needs to roll stealth as well.
Oh, yes, of course. I apologize. Here it comes. Ooh. Didn't take proficiency in it. 24.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we'll just go down the list. Ellis, what do you want to do for your surprise round?
wow. Okay. I think that's what I was thinking about.
I hope so.
I know I know I want to use Spare the Dying if possible
That's a touch spell.
on these guys, which means I have to get there, but I'm
Mhm.
here. So I think I'll do an attack. And I think we're gonna stay with something that's kinda normal. Eldritch Blast. 18, 15, 23 on the blue humanoid closest to me.
18, 15, 23 on the blue humanoid. All three will hit.
Excellent. And
36.
then for damage, 36. Now, I would like to do some physics, and I'd like to push him 30 feet into like his friend here. You see the vision?
Okay.
And hopefully that does something to him. Hopefully that knocks this guy down.
He will make a strength save. That's a natural 20.
Dang, he's
So-
strong.
Mm-hmm. It's knocked and
It
gets knocked into the cart. Knocked. It takes him quite a bit of damage of 36. We said points of damage. Holy crap! All right. All right. Jack, you get the next surprise round.
Wonderful. Okay, Jack's got his heavy crossbow loaded, and he's aiming at, let's say, the red humanoid over here, and I'm going to attack from stealth. That dude.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Heavy crossbow. Equipped. Okay, here we go. And that is going to be a... So far, that's a 22 to hit. I'm going to see if I got a natural 20, because I've got Elven accuracy. Here we go. Natural 20.
Hey.
29 to hit. So here comes
Double hit.
the... Okay. Here comes the damage. +4. And then I'm going to double... Hang on a second. I got to double
You
this.
said it was on this humanoid right here.
Yeah.
All right.
While this is happening, can we roll initiative?
Yeah, you can go ahead and roll initiative, if you like. Well, it's not if you like. You just are. So.
Fuck.
That looks like 54 points of piercing damage to the
Alright.
red dude.
Can I
54
keep my-
points.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna keep my first roll of
Oh.
20.
20. Sam gets 20. All right. I just need Jack and Zark.
Cool. Does Zark get a surprise roll as well?
What do you
And
roll
also,
for
may
stealth?
He here got a 24.
He does. So does Shada. So Shada,
Cool.
you still need to do your surprise round while Jack rolls initiative.
All
Cool.
right. So Shada is actually. Let me just measure this out really quick. All right. So Shada is going to use feline agility and like just get over here as quick as possible. And he is going to make some attacks with his Zell's Bane.
Okay. You get one action for a surprise round.
Yep. One action. Do I get my bonus action?
You do not. Surprise
Do
round.
not.
Good to know.
Okay. Unfortunate, but either way.
Surprise round is much like preparing an action.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the 12, a 12, and a 26 for those attacks.
26 will hit.
All right. Does this thing count as a dragon?
It does not.
Said.
Interesting.
Badge.
All right.
11 points of slashing damage.
That is correct.
All right.
And Shaka will, let me see my things I could do really quick. My bad. Yeah.
What is Dark doing for his surprise round?
Zark's firing his arrows with his long. He's gonna fire his longbow.
All right.
Oh, but he doesn't have it equipped, and I can't equip it for him. Fine, figure it out.
I will
Um,
equip it for you.
thank you.
Why he would not have it equipped, I do not know.
Okay. Well, nonetheless, does he get extra attack on this one, or is it just the one attack?
So I believe that per action he fires 2 arrows.
He does. Yes, it's
Then,
he has
yeah, he'll
extra
get
attack.
both attacks.
Cool. Do they both attack with advantage, or just the first one?
Just the first one.
Okay, so the first one is going to be
It's
a
a
26 to hit.
26 will
Yeah.
hit. What are you attacking?
Yeah, 26. Oh, sorry. He's attacking. He's going for he's going for the. I think he's going for the red one right here.
Okay.
Yeah. Sark's probably going for the big guy. Which means, all right, cool. So I'll do the attacks first. Plus 11. That's another 29 to hit. Was the next one.
All right,
So
both will
18.
hit.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. Longbow is D8. Okay. Cool. Plus 6. 14 piercing damage and 9
Mhm.
piercing damage for a total of 23 points of piercing damage. Magical.
Awesome.
Both on the red guy. And that's it.
All right, so with that, we are going to start initiative. So top of the round, Sam, as you're about to cast a spell, you actually notice that there are 2 other figures that you all did not notice that are kind of hiding amongst the trees or up on this hill. They are going to this one right here is kind of wearing these robes and holds out their hand, and this divine light emanates from it. I will mention before we get into that, this one died. He's gone. And
red
that
one
is it. As Jack just launches across people, goes straight through the throat. It's like, and it just, and it falls over, so it's just like gurgling blood. They're
I
going.
like this thing.
Yeah.
You said there was 2. One's here. Where's the other?
The other one is there.
Oh.
So
There's another one.
yeah.
Cool.
They are going to cast Mass Cure Wounds on the members. So this is a. Oop, I did not mean to do that. This one's going to come back. This one
Ooh,
was on
okay.
death saves. So they're all going to regain 14 hit points. And he's currently prone. And the blue one. Alright. Alright, so with that, Sam, it is now your turn.
Okay, so Sam's gonna charge forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome, that should put everything in range. Not shoot my thing. Okay. And he's going to cast Synaptic Static. Give me a
Nice.
moment to position that. Okay. 20. If I put it back here, maybe? Yep, okay. So positioned right there where I'm pivoting from to hit all 4 of those guys.
Okay, and what's the save?
It's an intelligence saving throw.
Alright, so the large draconic beast is gonna do theirs first. That's okay. That's gonna be a
20.
3.
Mhm.
So that's a fail and just takes 29 points of damage.
Yes.
Okay, so that's. Alright, the next one is gonna be the red one. That is gonna be a 19.
That succeeds, so he takes half damage.
That's still enough to put him back out of commission, so. He
Can we
is
get some F's in chat?
unconscious. So he's back unconscious. And this is for the next one. That is going to be a 5, so I'll take a full 29. That is exactly it needs to fall unconscious. And the last one is they will succeed. So they're going to take half. All right.
Okay, I will maintain concentration, and they need to take a d6
from all attack rolls, ability checks, and its Constitution saving throws to maintain concentration on anything.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And from attack rolls and ability checks, that's cool.
All right. And is that your turn?
Yes, that's my turn.
Jack, it is now your turn.
Awesome. Do I have clear sight on this guy from where I am?
Which one? No, you would not. They're behind the cart in the bush and all that.
Okay, so I don't really know he's there. Okay, good to know. In that case, I would have seen him just sort of stand up and then get down. Do I see this guy over here, this blue one?
They're both unconscious.
Oh, they're both unconscious? Okay. Great. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna run forward. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna get up to about. Well, sorry. Can I just ask what the dragon-like mounts are doing? Like, are they looking like they're in raise? You're about to attack.
They are looking like after your arrival. They're all ready to attack. Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Bonus action. Hide.
Okay.
Cool. Here it comes. Stealth check. 21 to hide.
Okay.
Cool. Next up is I'm gonna go for the one that's right by Shada. I'm going to load my heavy crossbow again and fire at that one.
All right.
Here we go. Natural 20.
Okay. Roll damage.
Okay. Lovely. Okay, and it's gonna be this one, I believe. 78 points of piercing damage.
It falls unconscious.
Okay. All right, and that's my turn.
All right. So this one is going to run over here, and it's going to cast its Radiant Bolt against Sam with disadvantage. Okay, Sam, that is going to be with disadvantage. 17 to hit.
Yeah, he's going to cast Shield, and it's not going to hit.
All right, so as this bolt of radiant energy comes launching itself towards you, this light just reflects the energy away from you, and you manage to not take the damage. All right.
Oh, right. 2 wild magic checks real quick. One for my turn. Okay, we're good.
All right, it's going to make a death save here. That's going to be a fail. It is now Zark's turn.
Cool. Zark is having kept an eye on what's going on here. I think he's got line of sight on this dude right here.
He does.
Zark's gonna creep up. Okay, Zark's gonna creep up behind this rock and hopefully take cover behind it, like half cover or 3/4, whatever it is. And he's gonna fire 2 longbow shots at this dude.
Okay.
Let's see now. Favorite. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Longbow shot. The first. 14 to hit. Natural 1.
That will. I mean, a natural 1 doesn't mean an auto fail, but 14 is the minimum you need to hit. So, Dark will always hit that.
Okay, so 14 and a 15 are both attacks.
All right.
Cool. Plus 1d8. 1d8 plus 6s. Okay. Cool. 14 points of piercing damage and 9 points of piercing damage.
All right. Sounds good.
Was he concentrating on anything?
No.
Cool. So he's also, by the way, I'm going to add the favorite foe damage to this. Including when you mark it there. Increase. Okay, that's 5 points of piercing damage. And I believe first time on each of your turns. Okay, yeah, so just 5 points of piercing damage on top of that. That's it. So 28 total.
Shada, it is now your turn. Flint is on deck. I believe Shada's having connectivity issues. Either they're muted, don't know. So I'll go ahead and do Shada's turn. He's gonna take the Zellsbane, and they're going to attack with it. On the blue one, I forgot to move over there. All right. That's gonna be a natural 20.
Ooh.
dealing a total of, wants to work for me, 23 points of damage on that one. All right. And they get what, 2 more attacks? Oh, hi, Shauna. He's gone again.
Oh, 2 more attacks.
That is going to be a 15 hit, which will just hit.
Ooh.
Hold on, that natural 20 wasn't a natural 20, so
No.
it's just automatically critting it for me. I don't know why. 15 will hit. That will be 11 points of damage, and then another attack roll from Shada. That will hit as well. All right, and that will do.
It's another natural 20. Oh my gosh.
It's
like
not.
4 natural 20s.
It's just saying that it's all natural 20s for some reason.
Does he crit on a 19?
No. It's just
if he
auto
uses
critting
Hexblade's curse on
everything, so he doesn't have that anymore.
No, I understand that.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Oh, what the? There's another one up there.
All right, so with that, that will end its turn. That one's looking pretty badly hurt. Flint, it is now your turn.
Nope. I'm going to move to there. Bonus action rage, and then I'm gonna throw the kitchen sink at this guy, aka I'm gonna throw a wooden ladle and a carver's knife, I guess.
Okay.
18 and 26 to hit.
Both will hit.
Okay, so that's 6 damage and 3 damage. So 9 total damage.
Against the blue dotted one?
Yep.
All right. Anything else for your turn?
That'll be it.
Use Askew, it is now your turn.
Alright. Oh, I just realized. Did we take a short rest?
Yes.
You did earlier today, but
We are all rested. We should
Okay,
be
so-
it's not a long rest.
Not a long rest. Okay, I had to double check. So, I do have my channel divinities. So I'm going to go ahead and run over here, using all my movement to get in the middle of everybody, kind of. And I'm going to channel divinity Twilight Domain.
Okay.
Twilight
Sparkly-
Sanctuary, I mean.
Sparkly Boy does nothing for 3 rounds in a row again.
No. No, I've had enough. I've had enough of these allegations, so I'm doing things round 1 now. So, with a 4th level spell slot, I'm going to. This is my bonus action. I'm gonna summon a spiritual weapon.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put that down on the field. I'm going to summon it right here.
Right. So this
next to the
one
dragon.
is unconscious.
Oh, it is.
Yep. Just
So
a
it's-
little bit more obvious for the ones that are unconscious.
Okay, wait. So that should be like 20 feet away. But I don't even think that I can. I'm just gonna leave this here for now, and I'll make my way to that when I get to it. But yeah, I end my turn for now.
All right. It's now this one's turn. It seems to be the one that's really hurt but still standing strong. I need Shada.
Alright.
Flint. And let's see here if it's gonna hit you or not. And Sam, all to make Constitution saving throws.
Oh no.
Honestly, just,
Oh, God.
I'm worried for our guys on the ground.
Yeah.
I think they get 10 HP at the end of their turn, which will bring them back up.
We'll see.
Got a 26.
21.
I don't
Alright.
remember if I have advantage or not.
Hugh, you also need to make this.
Oh, okay. With the con save. Ah, that's
Ooh.
bad. Ah, that's so bad.
Alright, so
Okay.
you all are going to take this. Anyone who got above a 14, you can take half. That is 23 points of acid damage, or 11 for those who took it halved, as it opens up its maw and like lets out this belch-like sound as this gas spreads out in a cone and starts to burn and eat away your guys' flesh and skin.
Are the guys on the ground looking?
They are hurt. They seem to be very close to death. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Elif, it is now your turn.
Oh, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and move from safety over. Let me make sure I'm pretty sure I make this. Yeah, easy. And I'm gonna do spare the dying on the guy to my left or right, outside of the circle. After doing spare the dying on him,
Okay.
I'm gonna do. Yeah, I think I'll attack the guy that's right in front of my face.
Is Spare the Dying a bonus action?
It's a. Yeah, it's a cantrip. Never mind. I'm going to not do anything else in that manner.
All right, so you go up to the elf, and he lays hands, and his wound stop bleeding, and he seems to be stable for now. And that is your turn. Top of the round, this one here is going to use a Radiant Bolt against Sam, who did quite a bit of damage to the party. Sam, that is going to be a 23 to hit.
That makes it. Oh wait, give me a moment. I'm gonna check something. Bend luck.
Has my boy got shield? No, luck.
Yeah. So I'm going to spend 2 sorcery points to force him to reduce that attack roll by 1d4.
Okay.
Is that a reaction?
Oh wait, no, that is a reaction, and I already shielded. Okay, so I just take it.
All right, so that is going to be 25 points of radiant damage, and you need to roll a Constitution save for your whatever attack
Spell.
that is. Spell.
Okay, that's
Static.
I succeed.
Mm-hmm. All right, and Salmon is now your turn.
Sweet. Okay, so I am officially tired of that guy specifically. So what's the highest level spell slot I have left? Oh, it's a 5th level spell slot. Okay, I am going to cast Scorching Ray as a 5th level spell slot, hitting him with, I believe, 6 rays of fire.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
3,
That's a natural 20.
5.
Yeah. Oh.
And which one are you hitting? The one
wow.
up on the cliff?
Yeah, that one that's up on the cliff.
All right, that will.
Oh.
Those will all hit. Yeah.
Okay, let me roll
Nice
for
rolls.
it. Hey,
Excellent job, Sam.
11,
11.
23, 32,
Whoa.
7, 42, 46 points of fire damage.
All right. They're still up.
Okay.
Is there anything else your turn, Sam?
I'm gonna spend my last 2 sorcery points and Scorching Ray him as well. Or sorry, not Scorching Ray, Firebolt.
Okay. That will hit.
Oh gosh, for 23.
How the
They are still up.
what?
All right, Jack, it is your turn.
Okay, Jack is going to use Misty Step to teleport right up here. He'll just sort of bamf out in a puff of black smoke and reappear right here in front of the dude. Hold his rapier up against the guy's neck and say, "You are routed. Surrender now, and you might be able to walk away with this with your life." And I'll take the ready action to stab him if I see a hostile action from him.
Okay. Alright, we'll wait till it's their turn to see what they do.
Okay.
So this one, who's still up, is going to launch another radiant bolt at Sam. You need to roll a -6, right?
Yeah.
Choose roll.
Actually, he succeeded on his save, so he doesn't have to deal with the minus.
Well then, 23
D6.
to hit.
That hits again.
All right, so that is going to be the radiant damage. 5d8 radiant damage. 24 points of damage. And you watch as you get hit with this, their wounds do close a little bit. So yeah. Okay. That one is gonna make a death save. Success. Zark's turn. Shot is on deck. Jack, you're Zark.
Oh, Zark, of course. I'm like, come on, Zark, don't be an asshole. Turns out I was the asshole. So, Zark from his position here is 1, 2, 3, gonna take up a spot behind this tree stump. Is that cover?
That would be half cover.
Awesome. He's gonna shoot at this bloke.
Okay.
Here, 1d20 plus 24 to hit.
That will hit.
And 20 to hit.
Both will hit.
Cool. 1d8 plus 6 plus 1d6. The first one's going to be 12 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
The next one's going to be 13 points of piercing damage.
Yeah, they go down.
Okay. Boom, boom. And that's Zark's turn.
All right. It's now Shada's turn.
All right. So Shada looks at the blue one, and he's gonna make a couple of swings at him.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Ooh. First one's a crit. Nice.
Okay.
For 14 slashing damage.
That will do it.
Oh my god.
He's down.
He's down.
Okay. I have 2 more attacks left, and I don't know what to do with them.
Well, he's unconscious. You could.
Kill him more. What a noble beast.
Oh, I totally forgot my temp HP from his Yasu's thing.
I don't have the speed to get up there because on my last turn you used some of my movement, right?
Yeah, I had to get you within range.
So I don't. Yeah, so I don't have my feline agility back. No, actually, yeah, no, yeah.
That one currently has Jack's rapier pointing at its throat. So saying, "Hey, don't try anything." All right.
So yeah, I can't really do much if Jack's waiting.
All right. Flint, do you take anything with your turn?
Yeah, I got nothing. I can't get up there, and yeah, I got nothing.
Yuzasku.
I'm going to use my movement to walk towards these people, and I'm going to use a 4th level spell slot to cast Aura of Life.
So, what you notice is that the dwarf and the Ganassi are not moving, and they seem to have bled out.
Oh no.
Nobody focused their healing the first couple rounds, and they already failed one prior to the combat beginning, so... So do you still cast Aura of Life?
No.
Alright, because elf did stabilize the elf before they bled out, so...
Right.
To like bleed out.
I guess what I could do is I could help out Jack a bit and ready a guiding bolt towards this guy if he tries any hostile actions.
Alright.
Idea.
That'll be a guiding bolt at the I don't know, 3rd level.
Okay,
Let's call
Elif.
it that.
I was just saying, I mean, they didn't like die right now, right?
They would have bled
they
out
die in this round?
during this round.
Because I don't think that gives me an opportunity for the reaction, but
You
that doesn't
could.
really matter.
You could. It's within
Give me
6
that.
seconds, so it's within a round.
Give me that.
Which one do you
I'm
want? The air
taking
ganassi or the
the-
dwarf?
The Ganassi, for
Okay.
sure. And I'll just sit with that and then watch as this is going on.
Alright, so it's now this one's turn. Jack holds up the blade to his throat and is like, you're all gonna burn. And he's going to go at you with a dagger. So go ahead and make your.
Okay, here comes the attack. Yep. Throw me with a dagger.
No, yeah, here comes that.
All right. 28.
That's gonna hit.
Okay. Would this be at advantage if the guiding bolt hits it, or would this be a straight roll?
It's just a straight roll. Just,
Okay,
Okay, agree on that
just-
cutting bolt.
Yeah.
Just roll
I'll
your
do
damage.
the damage.
Yeah,
28
they were
points
gonna
of
die
piercing damage.
regardless. So I didn't account for the
Yeah.
damage.
26 radiant damage.
You do
Yeah.
lose that spell slot though. And as they go with the dagger, Jack, you just take your left hand, grab their wrist, pull them forward, and your blade goes straight into their gut, and then just you just
There's a puff of green fire from inside her as like, or him.
it's a woman.
Yeah.
And they just kind of fade. And you notice that all of these beings that you just slew are vaguely humanoid. Even the gargantuan, not gargantuan, the huge dragonlord monsters, they had like a humanoid-ish torso.
I
Alright.
hope to the gods we just killed the right people.
Oof.
Well, I mean, we can search the body, see if they have any sort of orders or anything.
Yeah, I'm searching over this one here.
You said
I
one of them
start
looked
searching-
familiar.
Yeah,
Which one?
one of the humanoids with a draconic arm. They didn't get to do anything because it died. Go to make an intelligence, make a wisdom check there, Shada, to see if you.
It's a straight wisdom check.
Mhm.
All right. It's an 18.
You recognize this face, particularly standing on top of a crate, shouting to the masses in Cataran. You recognize them to be one of the dragon cultists.
Oh, okay.
Go and roll an
Oh, this
investigation
looks
check
like,
there, Jack.
Okay, here we go.
Looks like that dragon cult's doing.
It's 24 in the investigation check.
Yeah, searching through the robes, you find first of all they have a mace. They have a potion of healing, a greater potion of healing. Other than that, that is it.
A mace. Ooh, okay. Is it a normal looking mace or a weird magical looking mace?
It's a normal looking mace.
Okay.
And you're kind of like examining their body, and their eyes they're elf, but their eyes have a slit, like a draconic eyes almost.
Damn. Hmm. Oh, some kind of dragon cult maybe.
It's totally the dragon cult.
Yeah.
Any survivors?
This one over here.
I'll climb down.
Do we have any resurrection spells? Just wondering.
Yeah, use rescue.
Do you have a resurrection spell like Revivify?
No, I don't have
No.
Revivify.
Interesting. And the dwarf. The dwarf was a cleric, right?
The dwarf was a paladin.
Paladin of.
The Ganassi
What?
was a cleric of Akkadi, and the dwarf was actually an Onyx Breaker. They were a Duragar.
Oh, paladin of what god? If I could recognize anything.
Make a religion check.
All right. Awfully bad at those. 15.
It's fairly easy for you to recognize. It's Moradin.
Oh, okay. That's unfortunate.
So yeah, that was Kaido Onyx. That was Munri Onyx Breaker, and Kaido,
What Onyx Breaker?
Munri.
Munri. Okay.
And the one that you say you recognize to be Hubier Runstan. The younger brother of Azarok.
Ooh, we saved the right guy.
Good
I mean,
save.
would have been good to save all of them.
Is that the one that doesn't talk, or was that the Ergonasi?
That, if you remember the story that Lord Lightfine told you, Azarok, in order to silence his brother, poured like lie down his throat, making him a mute.
So the one we saved can't talk. Cool.
Use the sign language.
Yeah.
Do any of us know sign language?
No, it's not really part of your backstories.
Hmm,
If he writes something down, I can read it.
that's true.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I wonder what they were out here for. Let's check the card.
This is the
Yeah.
silver
Check the card.
band.
Yeah.
These are the
Oh,
people
God.
we were
Okay.
looking for.
This is it. This is it. All right.
All right.
Well, it's a jolly good thing we came when we did then.
Yeah, so you have about 4 chests full of golden gems. Kind of sifting through it, there you find a number of precious items.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gold. Gems. Any daggers?
Roll an investigation check with advantage. Ellis, make a medicine check as you're kind of looking over the corpses.
Okay.
That's 28 for the investigation check.
So sifting through it, you
got-
do manage to find a false compartment in the turned over cart that contains a cloth covered dagger and sheath that you recognize to be Gale.
I think this is it. Okay. I'm gonna wrap it up, keep it safe.
Ellis, you look at the bodies, and you can't tell much, but you can tell that those outside for the monstrosities, their skin, whereas with draconic flesh, has gone through some sort of medical procedure to be put there.
Like a skin grafting kind of thing.
Precisely like a grafting kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
gross.
Hey, Hugh! Can you wake him up?
Shadow's gonna be doing a prayer over the Onyx Breaker.
Okay.
I mean,
This one. Wake him up.
just wake him up. I'll give him a light tap on the forehead.
Alright, are you casting a healing spell to wake him up?
No.
He doesn't wake up, he's still at 0 hit points.
Can you
Alright,
please fucking heal him?
I'm trying my best. All right,
Shadow
I'm gonna.
can just go and give him like 3 hit points, unless you want to heal him more.
It's okay. I'll got it.
This-
I got it.
Jack, as this happens, you notice the other two.
Level 1 cure wounds.
Sorry, you notice that the dwarf, there seems to be
Tenuity.
a shadow standing next to it. And you watch as it reaches down and it touches the chest of the dwarf, and it has wings that kind of spread out as this light comes up from it, and it fades.
I don't see this.
No, only Jack sees
Well-
this.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
I'd
approaching
also-
it. Is it gone?
I'd also like
It's
to
gone.
say that before my Twilight Sanctuary wears off, we've all been standing in it, so everybody can take their share of temp hit points.
Nice.
How much was that again?
That
D6
is
plus
a
14.
1d6 plus 14.
May I touch the dwarf's chest where the shadow was touching, just to get a sense of whether it's cold, huh? What's the deal?
It's neither
It's cold and dead.
extremity. It's just what the temperature of the outside would be. Kind of soaked in its own blood.
I'll look at my own shadow and just say out loud, friend of yours.
Vibrates in confirmation. It's own way of communicating with you, like yes or no answers.
Yeah.
It kind of ripples. So the elf Hubir does wake up with a gasp of alarm and like frantically looks around.
Hey, we got here a bit late. We couldn't save your friends.
You're safe.
But-
For now.
Hubir looks to their left and their right, and they see that their two companions has passed on. And the sound that Hubir makes is not a normal wail, but this kind of yelp of exclamation that drags on for a few moments, and then just stops and like buries its head in, his head into his hands.
I'm sorry. We'll get you back to safety, alright? At least you're safe.
They start to sign some words.
Do I understand any of it? Don't suppose he understands thieves' can.
I mean, you can try, but Thieves' Cant is still spoken.
Yeah, it's a set of symbols, things, like gestures, nods.
I would say make an intelligence check to see if you can get the gist of what they said, but it's still not a language
Okay.
that you speak explicitly.
No, it really isn't. So that's a 7.
I'm gonna
Can't quite understand them.
I'm gonna pull out my leather book that is, I don't know where I got it. It's not my cookbook.
You got it
Anyway,
from a store in Terranold.
Anyway, I'm gonna give him the leather book, and you can write stuff down to us. I can read.
So Hubert writes down for a moment, and it says, "Dagger, where? I will go to the monastery."
Not the dagger. We could take care of it. It's very important.
We have it. It's safe. We're on the same side. The same interest. We made sure that they didn't get it.
He kind of blinks for a moment and then nods his head.
Do you want to take them with you, or do you want to bury them here?
Writes down for a moment. Let the forest have them.
If that's your wish. Right. Okay. And, respectfully, I'm gonna help to drag them off. See if we can just leave them somewhere nice.
Shadow will help specifically with the dwarf.
So they will bury them, but they want to bury them in the forest, is what they meant by that. So the elements of the forest, so they can continue the cycle of the forest. So for the next... Go ahead, fine.
I will help dig a grave for both of them, and I don't know any burial rites, but yeah.
Alright. So you spend the next few moments digging 2 graves for the fallen companions of the Silver Band. And just for a moment you sit down and reminisce on just not necessarily them, since you're not quite familiar with them, but rather the loss of life in general.
Hard times. I'm just glad we didn't stay. Just glad we struck out on the road instead of stuck around in town.
It would have been way too late.
I'd like to ask the soul in my cage, the Ganassi. I'd like to ask him what happened during the cart ride. To recount it to me.
we were within the last day of travel for the cart. We decided to push through the night. We didn't see them coming. The cultic grafters of the dragon legions ambushed us, and we fought valiantly, but
Yeah.
this is my fate now, I guess.
Sorry about that. But you're in good hands. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I expected, just an ambush. But I'm really curious about how they're making them into draconic forces. You know, if these are the cultists, I wonder if they're going to the Cyrundail Federation. Maybe, I don't know, not as far as Yorkin, but somewhere in there they've got to have something set up where they're doing this operation. Because it wasn't in the keep, right? I didn't see none of that in the keep.
They undergo a surgical procedure, those who cannot transform into a dragonborn. And they graft the flesh of dragons on them, eventually transform into the abominations you saw.
Alright. And then after that, after the burials happen, I'd just like to take a couple handfuls of graveyard or burial dirt with me.
Okay.
Grave dirt.
That's weird.
I'll watch you do that. That just won't say anything.
Okay.
Grimly. Well, we got what we came for. Suppose we better take him home.
What should we do about all this? And Flint just gestures to all the gold and gems.
Be ashamed to let it waste. It was for the people, wasn't it?
I mean, we could put it in our card and take it back to those people who said they hated us, I guess.
Yeah, we could pay off our debts for use.
Something like that.
Me.
Do we have debts?
Probably.
We might now.
We might.
We'll see. Yeah, let's take it back with us. No sense leaving it. Oh, we'll start piling it onto the cart, I suppose.
I will help.
Okay.
And I suppose we'll use some of the gold to power our journey.
Of course.
And we'll turn it around and head back to town.
Very well. Do you camp for the night, or do you push through and risk exhaustion?
Oh, better camp for the night.
Better camp.
Yeah.
We
All
can
right.
go onto the cart, then camp. That sounds good.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Okay.
I'll take first watch.
Anyone joining
Yeah.
Flint for first watch?
I will join for first watch.
Okay.
I'll take last watch.
I could also take last watch.
I'll take second.
I'll take second with Jack.
All right, Flint and Sam, you're up. You know the drill.
How's your perception?
Not very good.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, I did.
So, 10. Got it.
Yeah.
Looking around, the overall sounds of the forest are really loud. You don't really see anything stick out.
Okay.
I forgot to wild surge earlier, so I'm wild surging right now.
Cool, cool. Give me a minute. I think I can do something that'll help us out. And there's a spell that I could cast. Hold on, let me see. Commune with nature. Basically, I can tell if there's stuff within 3 miles of us.
So
Dude.
Sam vanishes from right beside you.
Oh, cool. I would like to know powerful celestials, fiends, fae, elementals, or undead in the area. Influence from other planes of existence in the area. Let's see. Oh, yeah, prevalent people in the area. 3 miles.
So you kind of reach out and you touch the earth, and the land kind of speaks to you. What it tells you is that there is a powerful fae in the area. There is influence from another plane of existence.
Interesting. Sam?
After about a minute, he kind of just suddenly reappears, and he's like, So I've kind of been screaming for a little bit here now, and you couldn't hear me or anything.
It's like when you forget you're muted on Discord.
Okay. So just so you know, there's a powerful fae in the area, and there's an other plane of existence. There's influence. I'm gonna guess that's like the Fey Wilds, because it's a very Fey heavy area. So yeah.
I wonder if we could speak with the animals here and get a little bit more feedback on that, see if there's anything interesting.
Do we see any animals around us?
Raccoon.
I cast Speak with Animals.
I also cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine takes a little bit longer than his does.
Right. Okay. So I start up a conversation with the raccoon, and I ask, "Hey there, how has your scavenging been going?"
Not good.
Not good.
Kids gotta eat.
Hmm.
Would you like some ham?
I would love some ham.
Give him some ham.
Kind of like crawls up, grabs the hand, takes a few steps back, and just shoves it all into their mouth.
Cool. Hey,
Cool ham.
yeah. I'll give you more ham if you answer some questions from us.
Ham first.
I'll give him a little bit more ham.
Shoves it in their mouth.
Do you know of any, like, powerful fae in the area?
Something strange is going on east of here.
Interesting. Okay. I'll give him a little bit more ham. Have there been a lot of those dragon type thingies that we killed earlier?
They've been stalking the path for 2 days now.
Are there any more of them?
Not that I've seen.
Cool. More ham.
Immediate vicinity. Okay. Is there anything else big and dangerous that's different recently?
I don't know what you mean.
Are there any new big dangers around?
You took care of the one dangers.
That's fair.
We're just making sure that there's nothing else that's going to come after us.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just realized I'm very dumb. the thing that might be influenced from another plane of existence might be the dagger. I have the big dumb, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, that works. That works. All right. Thanks for helping us out. Let us know if you need anything else, all right?
Yeah, some cheese.
I do have some cheese. Hold on, check this out. And I'm gonna show him how to make a timber. I'm gonna walk him through making a timber, and then I'm just gonna hand it to him. Ham and cheese.
It's gonna do like a human walk away with a sandwich in its hands, little paws.
Nice. Well, that was useful.
And with that, your watch ends.
Nice. Who are we waking up?
Jack and
Shada
Shada.
Okay. Hey guys, just so you know, there's a raccoon with the timber. There's a powerful fae in the area and something from another plane, but it might be the dagger. Okay, good night.
The timber.
Good night.
All right. Every day, a new dream.
That's a lucky raccoon.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Funny pair.
Yeah, it's,
Hey, you alright?
yeah, I'm good.
Beating
Great.
that last time.
What'd you say?
You took a beating that last time, but it looks like we held our own against those things. Guess they weren't really full dragons, although they certainly seemed like that.
Yeah, it just took a little bit of rest and I was
Ugh.
feeling tip top.
Yeah, not sure I like this sound of this cold.
I don't like it at all.
I'm not feeling great about our chances in this plane of water. We have 2 days. We only have a way for at least maybe 2 of us to get through. All right. The rest of us are going to be in for holding our breaths unless we can figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, if it helps any, this cloak I'm wearing right now I think it could just be passed around between us.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs any specific learning how to use it. I just put the cloak, the hood up, and I was able to glide through the water like I never have before. Didn't even need to.
Wouldn't that be a sight? All right. Fair enough. Maybe we can share. Well, here's hoping we find something.
Yeah.
I can't believe we found
We
them.
could just pass it around between us.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, Jack.
Do you hear that?
Hear what?
Damn.
Jack.
Where's that coming from?
Your pocket.
Okay. I'll open up the pocket, look down. Is it the dagger? Is the dagger
It's
talking
the
to me?
dagger. The green emerald in its hilt is kind of giving off this soft green glow.
God damn it.
What's up?
I'm gonna just take out the dagger and turn it over and study it and look at the green emerald.
Are you taking it out of the sheath?
I'm just holding it in its sheath at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, what do I feel? What's it saying?
Someone with your skills may find quite a bit of use in something like me.
Something of your power may have a little bit of difficulty with someone like me.
Hey,
I mean, I'm slightly spoken for.
who are you talking to?
The dagger.
Oh, don't tell me.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you. What shall I call you then? Gust? Gale?
I have many names.
I'm sure you do. So do I. I just have really one question for you. What do you want?
I want what the wind wants. To be free.
Am I addressing something caught within the dagger?
Perceptive.
And what are you?
One born of air.
And what are you prepared to do for us? You are apparently very important to the beings that are currently plaguing this world, the dragons.
Oh, Jack.
We
The power I can give you. I can give you so much. I can do so much for you. Not a question of what I can do for you, but what can you do for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Sounds like you're angling for something. We'll talk later, and I'm gonna just wrap it up.
All right.
Stick it in my pocket.
Hmm.
Well,
Definitely
that's
convince
something.
you of something.
Yeah, there's something in there.
You know, that staff did the same exact thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
and what
Sounds about
we learned, some big fire prince or whatever was stuck in that burnt piece of wood. If it's anything similar, you know, I
Really?
don't think. Yeah,
A fire piece, like a being of fire inside the stuff.
yeah, like a prince, like something like that.
The one inside the dagger spoke of being a being of air. Huh.
It's
All
called
right.
Gust. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same sort of thing.
Elemental weapons. Sounds about right.
Yeah, seems to be a pattern.
I'll look over at the Sunblade. Like, don't suppose there's anything in that.
Nothing but a piece of the sun, I guess. And I like it that way. I don't want my weapons to speak to me.
Uncomplicated. Well, damn. With my luck, I suppose there'll be nightmares next.
Yeah,
Don't suppose you have any magic over dreams?
magic dreams?
Don't suppose you have any magic over dreams? Although I suppose your magic has fled you now, hey?
Yeah, I'm filled with only the holy radiance of the Soul Forger himself.
Wow. You got religion?
Guess so. My reconvening with my god is leading me to my path. That Munri Onyx Breaker, the dwarf that died over there, he's a paladin of the same god as me.
Friend of yours from before, or you just knew him?
I ran into him a couple of times. I didn't really know much about him. We're not from the same clan. Not that I had a whole lot of friends from my own clan.
Well, to give news to his people, I suppose.
I thought the same thing. Send a letter back to the Onyx Breakers.
Yeah.
Whether I knew him well or not, I guess, would be considered like one and the same, in a sense.
You can see that. Do you think you'll be king someday?
What?
You. I mean, the way you carry yourself. Leader. I mean, they look to you a lot for leadership. The dwarves. I mean, there's so much talk about your claim, your inheritance. You're an heir to something big. Do you see yourself as doing that?
Well, I mean, I am at the moment just a figurehead of head of the Copperstone clan, Lord Copperstone. But that's about as far up the chain as it goes within my nation. Unless we talk about what my father's plans were, but that's all history by now.
Of course.
Yeah. You know, my father, he's petrified. He's not dead. I'm thinking about maybe, you know, after he serves a sentence for the crimes that he committed, having some letters for him to read when he wakes up.
For sure. You know, something that's oh, sorry, go on.
No, you continue.
Well, I was just going to say, and please, I apologize if I give any offense, but there's something I couldn't help but notice, which is that you're not a dwarf.
No, I'm adopted.
Well, that I figured. I just wondered if you knew anything about where you came from.
Thought about it here and there, but I don't think I should really give the respect to my blood if my parents, you know, left me in a forest.
Well, I'm all for that. Your real parents were your mother and father. The one, the man in stone. Well, blood has a way of coming back, right?
I guess
Ancient
so.
entitlements, that sort of thing.
I don't really remember anything from back when I was first found, from back before I was found. So, who knows? My blood parents could have died some horrific death, and I was the only survivor, something like that. But I have no way of knowing. But never really particularly interested me. It's come up in my head every once in a while, but I have the people that raised me, even though, you know, raising me is only a blip in their life.
Always something more important, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, time goes on, all the important things get taken care of, and all that'll be left are the questions, right? Even the ones you push aside.
I guess so. Once I have everything, at least the main things figured out, I will have to touch back on some things.
Well, all this is over. You need some backup, you look me up. Hate to lose a strong arm like you.
I'll keep that in mind.
And with that, it's time to wake up Yuzescu and Aleph.
Is that raccoon with the timber still walking around at this point?
I mean, after another 2-hour watch, I would say it's skittered off into somewhere.
Okay. I think Yuzescu would have had something to say seeing that. That would have been funny.
Watch out for a talking raccoon with a timber. And if you hear any whispers, don't worry. It's probably coming from me. Good night.
Are you okay, Jack?
No. Good night.
Oh.
You
I'll
really
let
are
that
going to
sounds
go to
about right.
sleep with
Well.
all these treacherous people around you, Jack.
You know something about treachery, do you?
How many times have you
By all
almost been
means.
killed in their company? I see
Great
your
many
memories,
times.
Jack. I see your pain. Good night.
Good night.
Elephant Hugh.
That was pleasant. I know I didn't hear it, but that would have been such a nice bedtime roll.
Um, well, I'm just gonna sit down, start
Alright.
looking.
Yeah, Elif.
If you want to do the perception for me, that'd be excellent.
Go ahead and roll perception, guys. Elif, as you sit
yeah.
down, you begin to feel this burning
Crit.
pain against your hip.
What is that?
The leather-bound book that you carry with you has the new runes being burnt into the pages.
Very interesting,
okay?
very painful. We've kind of got a development going on. Do I understand what these runes like mean?
Yeah,
I
your
would
voice
like
is
to
the
read
runekeeper.
them.
So reading
Yeah,
over
I know. I
it
want to read
explains
them.
the process to take the grave dirt. You also need a few other materials, and you will be constructing some sort of object. Recipe list, per se. I'll message it to you.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to know what these ingredients are. It's always nice to hear from your patron, you know? So this is gonna be very useful.
Is this all inside of a book?
Yes.
Can I try to catch a glimpse of this while this is happening?
Make a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay. Crit fail. Wow. That was the split between a crit
As you kind
fail
of
and a
like
regular
look
crit.
over, you are like leaning on a branch and it snaps and your hand slips out from under you. You like stumble for a second.
What are you doing? Oh my goodness.
I saw you were doing some light reading. I was curious.
All you gotta do is ask.
Well, what are you reading then?
Well, I'm reading, it looks like a recipe would be the best way to put it, you know, like a crafting recipe. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be used for yet or anything like that, but we'll just save it for later. I'm sure.
Seems a little bit volatile, don't you think?
Oh yeah, but that's just that's how he works.
You got an interesting patron.
I believe everyone's patron represents them, in a way.
I'd say so. I don't believe we've talked, Elith. What's your story?
My story? Well, I don't know. It used to be writing, well, a long time ago when I met the champions, we were just doing guild jobs, you know? These days we're fighting dragons, but everything before that, it's not too important to these days.
Right. Suppose.
What about you?
I'm just a startup from the Valyrian Empire trying to become a hero. But it's strange because over time in these adventures I've kind of learned that the definition of a hero is blurred and it's not very solidified. And as we fight these massive monsters, and we killed something called the World Eater, right? That is a huge thing, right? And this is a possible threat to an entire city. And even doing so, is that worthy to bear the mark of a hero?
Heroes come in all shapes and sizes. You know, you don't have to fight dragons to be a hero. I've met plenty of small town folk who are probably more heroic than I am. You know? It's about courage. It's about what's in your heart and your intention. And, you know, some people are heroes to themselves. They push through what they never thought they could. And then they come on the other side stronger, better, a champion of their own. You know? It's very subjective. Just as a villain is. Everything in the morality sphere is subjective. You just have to do what feels right to you, you know?
Right.
You could be a farmer and still be a hero. You're feeding people. People gotta eat.
That is true. Though, even in doing all these things, I don't exactly feel like I've fulfilled that testament that I should be living to.
Well, you do have kind of a lot of expectation, don't you?
I do.
Does your goddess help you?
When I call for her help, she's not very responsive, though through my prayers I have some semblance of magic due to worshipping her, but besides that, not very much. We're not in very close communications like you and your patron.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I never hear from my patron, really.
At least he gives you instructions.
Yes, I do like that.
It's interesting.
Would you, would you mind helping me dig a hole real quick?
Okay.
I've got a bit of garbage that I've got to, take care of.
Alright, sure.
Just some extra stuff from the bag of holding. You know, this bag of holding, it's one of my favorite things.
It is very
I've come
convenient.
across a lot of items.
Sure is convenient, isn't it? Well, that reminds me. I'm gonna pull out the obsidian idol. I still don't know what this thing goes to.
Is this the one of... Who is this of again?
Who is it of?
Yeah, what is this again?
It's a statue modeled after some sort of devil. You don't know what.
Right.
Okay.
Well, my solo adventures haven't bared any huge treasure, no real artifacts, just this thing. No clue what it goes to, though.
It could probably be useful.
I presume it to be a key of some sort, but I don't know. I'm gonna try to mess with the idol. Maybe see if I can find like a hidden button or maybe some property of it, some hidden property that I'm not seeing on the surface.
Oh, I felt like I was gonna sneeze. Okay. Make an intelligence check.
Okay. Crit.
So, looking at the idol, you begin to like fiddle around with it, and as you like, it's holding up this like this sphere and a scepter, and how it's positioned, and you reach out and you like touch it, and just for a moment, this vision flashes across your mind of a dark crystal with 5 pillars and chains wrapped around it. Each chain is attached to one of these pillars, and you hear the voice, "I see you," and that's it.
Ah, well. That was not pleasant.
Wait, what was it? What did you see?
Okay, I was messing with it. I saw this. How big was the crystal?
It was very large, about 30 feet tall.
Oh god, wow. I saw this huge dark crystal wrapped in chains. The chains were connected to pillars, and I heard the words, "I see you." So this thing has some sort of scrying on it, I suppose. Weirdly enough.
I wonder if that scry has been around since you got that idol.
Oh, this room
And
that he
if so-
described is very familiar to you.
I had that thought myself. I was thinking that exact thing. Can I have that
No,
real quick?
mine.
No.
Oh.
It's yours.
Oh, you mean to inspect it? You can inspect it, but
Yes, just to look. I'm not going to keep it.
you may borrow it for the time being.
Of course.
All right, I'm gonna hand it to her.
I'd also like to mess around with it and see if I can get it to do that again.
So as you reach out and you are trying to, you try shaking it, you try pressing on it, you try a lot, and you're gonna get frustrated. Like, why did it talk to him and not to you? Is what's going through your mind right now as this continued frustration grows and nothing happens.
This sucks. You can have it back.
All right.
I have this one, and I'll show my bone Bulgara idol thingy.
The borrow girl. Yep.
Oh, so you have one
that
too.
one. But it hasn't done anything cool like that, so. Let me know if it does anything else though, if it says anything else to you or anything like that, because that crystal in the room, it's very familiar.
Right. I might, in the future, have to look into this with some divination. Come to think of it, actually, because the long rest isn't completed, could I want to mess with my ring of spell storing, and first of all, I want to see if there's any spells on it that Kelwin left in here, by chance.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I have no idea if there's anything stored in that because he didn't tell me.
Okay. So, there's a condition when you first find it that says you can, roll a 1d6 -1 to see if there is anything pre-stored in there, and you're able to choose the spells.
I am?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it's the sort of thing where when you first find the item, it can have something in it. I'm not really sure if you want to do that.
Before you do that, you're helping Elf dig this hole.
Right.
And you wrap it up. You wrap up the hole. And Elf, what do you do?
I'm gonna take the bag from earlier and just go ahead and set it in there and cover it up.
And as your watch comes to an end, you finish digging this hole and refilling it with odds and ends of materials. That is actually where we're going to end our session for the night, as the sun is beginning to rise and the forest starts to be getting glowing with this golden light of a new day.
And there's a raccoon with a sandwich.
And there's a raccoon with a sandwich.
Not anymore, unless he kept that sandwich. He's gotta have eaten it by now.
I was like, wait, why is there no music playing? I'm like, oh yeah, 'cause I can't hear it.
Flint.
So everyone, thank you so much for tuning to our session this evening. We appreciate you coming in and watching our stream as always. Don't forget to tune in next week for session 90 of Prestige Encounters. As we continue our story, and then the following that same week on Thursday is our very first new programming episode of Prestige Libs, our randomized one-shot. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that follow button. I want to thank all of our players for this evening. First and foremost, we have Alpha Sago, our Tiefling Warlock.
I had a lot of fun. Great time, you guys. I felt like I really achieved a lot this session. And GG. Anyways, next is gonna be Flint, our chef, who has friends in high places.
It was a lot of fun. I really want every woodland creature in this forest to now learn how to make a sandwich. I'm gonna kick it over to Shada Copperstone, our Tabaxi fighter and paladin.
I will fix it eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for a great session, guys. It was very fun. And this is what I am glad we got that Hydra Fang thing. That's gonna make for some great things.
Yeah, about that. I was like, oh, a CR 18 or 19 creature, and I gave them an uncommon magic item. I gotta give us a little bit more, you know?
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that was crazy awesome. And I'm gonna pass it over to Midnight Jack, our
Hey.
rogue / warlock, the man, the myth, the legend.
From all that. Thanks so much for a great session. Gosh, I pictured woodland creatures operating a little mill, refining like wheat, like making flour, creating like making their own bread and stuff. It was too sad. It was too sad. It'll never work. But I'd love to see it happen.
Planting the seeds for Animal Farm to take place in this world.
Okay. That's the new campaign, guys. Anyway,
all they gotta do is steal the bread.
All of our bread goes missing in this town. We'll have to hire some adventure. That'll be the new hook. Anyway, thanks everyone. I'm gonna pass this over to Zark Nacella, our human ranger. Hey everybody, this was fun. Shot some arrows. I think I lost like 6 arrows, but then I went and shit, I didn't recover them. Well, I'll have to go find a Fletcher. I'll kick it over to Huzescu Tobaliza, our human cleric.
Thank you, Zark. That was a very nice session, very eventful. Got a ton of like super good things today. We got Gust, so we can finally fight off some dragons. That'll be cool. Yeah, that Fang. We can finally use plane shift for the astral plane, which is great. We also got the raccoons know how to make sandwiches, so that's going to be a great thing for the
Which
future.
has already been confirmed to be the animal of the forest stealing food for their timber making will be a one-shot in the near future.
I'm so excited. Let's go. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be excellent. What else? Oh yeah, Hulor with the idol. That's going to be cool. Can't wait to look more into that. And on a side note, ever since I've started watching Prestige, I've been saving up channel points so I could cash them in for a follow back.
Wish is granted.
Excellent. All right, and that is all. Without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Sam, our wonderful sorcerer.
Thank you, Hizescu. Gosh. Nah, I had a pretty great time. I still have this kind of headcanon of Sam spent the entire time outside the brothel just kind of blushing and being side-eyed looked at. Gosh, that was an awkward 30 minutes, but... nah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Man, I am kind of looking forward to getting back into that town. Mostly because the guards all going to be wearing us now. Right? And
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so guards going to be wary of us because a certain someone kneecapped a guard?
Was drunk.
Right? Okay. I am looking forward to next session where we go ahead and get a bit more into that and also get some final supplies before we go off to the plane of water. And I will go ahead and pass that back to Salkos.
Thank you so much, Sam. Don't forget, everybody, that we will be running a channel following this. Otherwise, we'll see you next week here at twitch.tv/PrestigeGC for session 90 of Prestige Encounters. When we send you over to the channel, don't forget to give them all the PGC love that we have to offer. Lastly, we want to wish all of you viewers a fantastic new year, and may all of your aspirations be a thing. Don't give up on those. Stick to your goals. Be a better person. Do better for yourself. Self-care more, because we care about you. Don't forget to join our Discord, and that is just a great thing to do too. Without further ado, thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye now. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Watch your step.